The mortars coming through, trying to find that flush. Hello, my bad. Has that P90 that he picked up off of Salute's body. Good blue zone, and he's going to run out of the blue zone grenade. Has to go for that first aid.
AGL looks like they want to get a bit more of what's going on, but they do spot out the 2-1, so that's going to be twisted now down. Now Heather does get knocked. It's going to be ducked by the sneaky snake back behind all of this. The solo trying to get involved. Circle pops away, and it goes right to Shadow Esports. So the firefighting on the hillside is going to start popping off as now Falcons have to push into, well, actually Navi has to push into Falcons. VP is going to be defending the other side. Vitality manages to finish off T1 at least for a reprieve on the circle, but it's them and VP tied up at 34.
And Duckmai eventually did end up biting T1 in the back, and he found quite a chunk, and Vitality knew that they had that moment to capitalize. This looks pretty nice for Falcons or Navi if they could come through it clean. AGAL as well, still 4 up. I mean, of course, Shadow has the compound, has the circle, so they're going to be feeling pretty good about having the best odds to potentially take the chicken dinner. It's just, can they kind of hold off these really talented, aggressive squads that are going to be around them? Cars on kind of an awkward slope there. It's going to be tough to drive it up the hill for Falcons. They're just trying to keep Navi at bay.
Nobody can really go into the circle easy from the east either. AGL's up on the top of it. These squads know that they need to fight, try to find some kills over here because it's pretty much a kind of a sprinkler field due east on the circle. So fight if you can find it, and it's stalled out any form of movement. VP is still also stuck, kind of just got their duo up looking at the warehouse and what's going to be going on over there. So couple of shots coming out. Oh, AGL destroyed. Does get the knock on to Beamy. That's going to stall out everything even more. If anything, though, this is really big for Vitality because they've got way more breathing room up into the north. They're kind of containing anyone's legend who's trying to contain VP, but Corexy, so few options. He's just going to try to send it, use the opportunity of this firefight going on between Navi as well as Falcons. And oh, Hakatori just drops it right on to Shrimpsy. Kickstart gets 2, though, in retaliation.
What a hold, and he's got a Panzer behind this. He's looking to get the player. He does some damage, tickles the ankles, and takes another one down. Kickstart right back to it, gets behind the coop, claims some more points. Just going to be, is this grenade going to be well cooked? Kickstart senses it coming, gets down just in time to avoid dying, and Kickstart takes them all down.
Gets it in the end, but he still has to run up. He's already weakened. Right as soon as he peaks the top of that hill, it is going to get punished fast. Other side of the world, you can see it is Vitality starting to jockey up against anyone's legend. Anyone's legend just trying to fight their way into the circle, but it's going to be a great setup firing line and a mortar from Hello My Bad, waiting and holding everybody into position. That's the job of this duo. Keep them contained, mark it up, and can Hello My Bad drop the boom on them?
Let's see. Yes, he can. He got Hemas. He took down the biggest danger that AGL will bring to bear. Almost gets another one of the Salalzi. Oh, my word. Delwyn getting tagged up. I think that was the P90 from Hello My Bad there. So everything crumbling.
Shadow's flanking on this one. They see an opportunity to take control over the game. It's Jexy. He hits the shots on the Hello My Bad. The mortar now down. Peeks the other side. Vitality is eliminated. Shadow coming alive, but they've got to fight up against anyone's legend.
I don't think Kit can get back into the circle. He's just trying to heal through this as best as he can, but it's not going to be too much longer before he succumbs to that blue damage. Meanwhile, a pause in the fight. AGAL back up to 4 strong despite significant damage dealt by the side of Vitality, who'll go down in 3rd. A great timing there from Shadow, though. Knew they needed to get active, and better late than never.
This is 7th and 8th place, respectively. Would not have expected that on the start of the day as Shadow and anyone's legend. Now, anyone's legend have to fight their way into this circle. Kamal's doing a good job on keeping control over that hills, the field side of all of this, while the other 3 are keeping control over the hill. AGAL has a firing line that we know can just absolutely demolish teams, and they might be leaning into it. It's just going to be 3 inside of a car, tail end back behind that, try to jump over this hill on the other side, run down the fields, take that southern position. Kamal's going to have all the pressure instantly put back onto him. No clean sight lines popping yet. Kamal's, can you defend as though AGAL just steals this, runs right up into their face, and takes it away from them.
It's a really nice read here by AGAL, realizing that Shadow had pushed out with quite a few players, so that means that this compound was going to be weak, if not completely wide open, and they're going to capitalize on that. So immediately, Shadow has to reinforce this. They can't give up the longhouse cover to AGAL for free, so they are going to challenge it. Molly on the outside, not really going to do much there. Goes a little bit too deep to cover the doorway, so AGAL able to take their half of the longhouse.
They're back up against the blue zone again. At least they got into it. Found a way to navigate this pretty clean. It was a good read on how to hold the circle. You did a great job on explaining through all of it. but Kamals has got to be the guy that keeps the contain, opens the opportunity. Setsuna gets a nade on Emos. That's going to feel great. Hansi gets one as well. So now AGAL, after a great rotate, in some trouble, but notice Delwin's position. He's playing the other side of the rocks. Can he find a good angle? Yes! Does get the knock on Jexy, and is pulling all the aggro down to himself. Finds another one onto Hansi.
It's a good start here, and it's a good one for Setsuna again. Gonna claim another, and Shadow has 2 players up. AGAL just Solalzi destroy. Sticking the res. Looks like he's going to be afforded the time, but the problem is while you do this, that means Shadow is also going to have the time to go for the reses themselves. That's a great initial util barrage from Shadow. Had the blue zones to force players into positions where the frags could connect onto the backside. Really nicely done by them. Can they capitalize? Can they close this game out?
Setsuna had a couple of clutch moments whenever it was needed. Can he find another one? Hansi already gets the information, knows where Solalzi is, tries to deny out the high ground in that position right on top of him. Is it going to give him enough space? Kamals has got the highest of high ground in all of this. Here's the footsteps, and is feeding the information over to his teammates so that way they know exactly where he's going to be positioned at, knows the fact that he's got Destroy right underneath of him on one side of this. Has to be careful. Solalzi, one side of it. Going to get a little bit of aggro thrown his way. So control right now still favoring Shadow, but AGAL has to figure out how they want to navigate this longhouse. Is Destroy not going to be inside this new circle yet, and Kamals on top of him knows every movement that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, now it's just a waiting game. You know, Shadow should just be able to kind of hold the line here one way or another. Even if you lose Hansi in this situation, you should be okay with Jexy and Setsuna's position. Just going to come down to the shots, and you know, we know AGAL, they're capable. No Himas here, but still Destroy Solalzi very, very good in their own right.
I think that Destroy just found the helmet. I didn't see it on a second ago. I'm not for certain, but I have to see is there might have been a peek that Kamals could have gone for. I wouldn't be surprised if probably his head's been hit a few times given the position of Kamals, and this is full contained. Destroy just trying to play this slow. See if he can sneak up, but Kamals isn't going to let it happen. The shoddy, though, could be big flash. Throwing off the timing. Looks like Hansi's going to find something. Kamals does get the knock. That's going to open up the longhouse, and it is just Solalzi as the solo.
Oh, Kamal's just going to go in there, make sure he's got the point, immediately runs away, realize he might be in a bad fight. Don't want to give any extra over to AGAL if they can so help it. And there you go, Shadow Esports going to take the chicken dinner on Miramar.
Slow and steady wins the race inside that one. Shadow Esports finds a victory and continues to climb up the leaderboard. Underdog story not done yet.
I mean, they played, you know, a very good, cautious, thought-out game. It's not as explosive as your T1s, as your Myths, but man, oh man, get them into the late game, and they're going to make some good moves, and they make some good reads. Yeah, sure, some circle luck, but they play it well.
Other side of that, anyone's legend, respect on that rotate. They read exactly the position that was coming up from Shadow and how they were going for it. Love the drums coming out for the Shadow fans out there. But really what kind of stood out to me with AGAL was that Delwin position where he moved over to the rocks to try to grab as much aggression as many of the players to move away from the compound to open it up for his teammates. That's such a smart play.
Yeah, I mean, I think AGAL played this about as well as they could have, given their, you know, disadvantageous position in the circle, recognizing where, you know, Shadow had given up some space that they could make the rotate through, but, you know, Shadow as well, quick to make their counter moves, decisive when they needed to be, in the heat of the moment, reaching out to thwart Vitality from really, you know, potentially taking out AGAL pretty cleanly and potentially winning the game.
And Kamals had 2 different ways he could play that. Remember, he was the defensive guy. Let's listen in real quick.
Let's go!
That one feels good for him. All right, so remember Kamals was holding down the compound, and the rotate from AGL happened there.
Yeah.
But he would have also had the information that that was a ton of people. He could have gone for a couple of peeks, maybe taken a couple of shots. But if he went down there, the longhouse would have been instantly surrendered. That would have made everything so much harder for Shadow. So instead, he went for a more defensive play, went back into the high ground up on top of the longhouse, and let everybody sweep down in right underneath of him. So, I mean, a lot of great strategy to come into a really crazy set of hardships is we've got to get everything set up, move into our next game because, man, it has just been popping off today.
me 1 second. I'm not with you. I'm not with you.
Sick, I'm driving on the left. Wait for me, brother.
Oh, he's on the fuck out, troll. He's on this. Oh, great. My bad.
Full GamIN.
Stuck in the corner. Watch out. Nice. Get that chip. Put it in his car. Blow it up right now. Don't waste any time. Nice.
Knock 2.
Nice.
Last guy.
All dead. Good job, guys.
Well done,
Good fucking
boys.
job.
Well done.
Hell yeah.
We did what we wanted to do. Who's next?
Alright, we're here. Killjet G2. Sorry about that, cowboy.
It's not good. Who can pass JDG's question?
Nemesis. Nemesis.
没有，
没有，
插手后，插手后，
插手后，
最后一个，丢了，他丢了，快拉开，拉开，厕所里还是厕所外？插手后，他死了，好打，
继续清吗？都来，一起来！我有雷，我4颗雷，要分吗？
我帮你们抽左边啊，我在顶上。
一起，教练，
我也要去吗？
都来，我们的进阶就在这里，这里有个盾牌，我丢他雷，这里有个盾牌，右边这边，我今天你看到，我丢，我看打药，你没丢过去，残了，
往前吧，封个烟往三边，
没烟出了啊，最后一个右下，圈里面，前面是尖的，
被混烟混倒的，挖坑能救，往前，
挖坑，有雷，别吵，
All right, we're here at the EWC Parkour Challenge. Now it's time for the incline slab. Kilaris up to bat. Let's see what he's got in store for us on this one. All right, he's making his run. He's got up there. Oh, the arthritis fakie. He lands it. He's done it. He makes it. That is a huge win for Kilaris. Papers in here bringing you another event from the EWC Parkour Challenge. Kilaris going to attempt to go for the gamer gear lift. Let's see what he's got going for us. He's coming in. Oh, the interesting. Oh, it's so heavy. It's too much for him. Can he pull it through? He's trying. Oh, okay. Just goes in. All right, we're back here at EWC Parkour Championship. One more event to go. Kilaris, can he pull off the old man army crawl? We're going to have to wait and see. He's going under. Pretty good. He's rolling. Good technique, good form. Slides through. He's up. He's through. He's done it. He's got it. The EWC Parkour Championship. Done really well here, Kilaris. I want to get your thoughts. I know you're winded. That was a tough one. How did it go?
Oh, I need to get some big points on this one, but I think I did enough. And I just want to say thank you.
What do you got to say to your fans out there?
Everyone who believes in me. This is for you, man. This is for you.
He's done it. Emotional stuff here from Kilaris at EWC. What a performance.
A team that nobody was expecting to even be in the finals or even end up showing up in the finals. And from the shadows, eSports is able to get a win, Toffee.
I get where we're going with that. They did get a win. You know what? I got to give them respect on that win. Sure, they had a ton of utility. They had a good spot, but they really outplayed AGAL, who was remember, favorite to potentially win this event. So you got to give these young lads, first EWC, first huge event, props on that sort of ability.
Plenty of opportunities for them to throw that fight, right? Sure, they didn't have to do much. Yeah, they had the circle, but they played it absolutely perfectly, right? Even the end, when they baited, I believe it was Sololzi to get on that roof, and they still got the kill. That was perfectly played. So
they knew the win condition was roof control, and so they jumped off saying, "Oh!" And Sololzi was like, "Finally, they made a mistake," and he climbs out. Easy bait, man. I loved it.
The patience that they were able to showcase was impressive too. Waiting for the right time. Love to see that from Shadow and just continuing to get all this experience to maybe carrying that on throughout the rest of the year. But other squads, honestly, T1 being able to bounce back with those 11 kills, Lace.
Yeah, I mean, look, I said it in the previous game. This is not going to be another chicken dinner for them. And no, it was not, but the high eliminations were exactly what this team set out to do. And I mean, I'm pretty sure it was like, racked up to like 11 points. They cleared out that northwest side, and they kind of set their sights on Vitality to be their next sabotage. But unfortunately, Vitality got the handle of that one.
I'll tell you who they hate. They must hate 17 with a passion, because they started that game by killing Wembo, Tian, and Lil Ghost. They let them get the reses, then they hunted them down in the back half of the game and re-killed the entire team. They literally got half of their points off of the same 4 players.
Started to wonder if 17 should have just joined 4 a.m. on that plane ride home, because
they saw their
playing like it. I'll tell you that right now.
They saw their countrymen leave and they took that personally.
Yeah, you know who isn't playing like it though? Kickstart's clutch. That was so clean for the Falcons and necessary. They needed those points to make sure they're continuing to stay relevant as these teams are starting to climb the leaderboard.
Yeah, for the Falcons, things. I mean, just to start off the day, as we're looking at the play here by Kickstart, we were talking about Tig being able to be that superstar that ended up showing up at the end of their first day. Now it's Kickstart hopefully giving them that kickstart here today.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Kickstart show at the moment, but I think my issue is like they're not playing the team strength. They're kind of having like an individual player being like that most outstanding one for their team. And yes, Kickstart was that one. I think they got the third place out of it, but I'm really disappointed to see that it's not the entire team. It's always a solo superstar.
I need to point this out though. Okay, so Kickstart was down to 2 magazines on that one. Yeah. He let one go, got the double knock, switched to the Panzer to save himself time, pulled it out of his pocket, got him low. Then he was down to about 26, used it on the first, and only had 20 rounds to finish the last fight. Was at 8 when it ended. Like that was literally everything he had, and he managed to get a 4 out of it. That is crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, look, I look all the way back to PGIS when he was playing on Zenith, right? And we first really got to taste what he was capable in an international land like this, and he does not disappoint. Anytime he's on this stage, anytime he's on an international stage, Kickstart, at the very least, will show you something that you haven't seen before.
And for Kickstart, I'm hoping that continues on. I also want to see the rest of the players, as you were saying, Lace, being able to show up. And for you at home, don't forget that you can actually sign up to the Esports Foundation Creator Program. Make sure you do so, earn some rewards, live stream for everybody, and there's a chance that you could end up getting interviewed by us on the final day, because why not? And look at that, there's some pretty cool rewards. Is that a trip for 2 to where?
Week
Paris?
3 of asking for the PlayStation 5.
Oh, hold on. Hear me out. PlayStation 5 doesn't sound bad. Make sure you scan that QR code and go apply, join, and earn rewards for the Esports Foundation Creator Program. Talking about some squads that we were expecting to come in quite heavy today. Myth, I'm not going to lie, Myth has kind of been a little bit disappointing to me today.
Look, I wouldn't say too much disappointing. It was kind of like a great start for them. Yeah, it's a little bit more slower in the reins, and for them to sort of go out early in that match was kind of the golden gate for everybody to catch up. But look, they're still in that top sort of section of the leaderboard, so it's not counting them out just yet. It is very super close. Like, if you were to go to the next page, you would see how incredibly close these points are. And look, if anyone can bring it home and make those conversions, it's Myth.
Absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still 7 points per game that they're averaging, which is a great start at 3 when we're looking at sort of the long run on this thing. The team that really has me, as you look at this, Virtus Pro at 34 points. These guys have not let off the gas. 8-8-4, 6th place, 2 seconds. They look good right out of the gate. When you got a player like Beamy sort of on that team who is probably one of the best that does it, like, this is, you can't let them get ahead. It's going to be who wins in a fight, a polar bear or a hurricane. And it's always a polar bear.
I think something else to note about Myth, too, is they were seen as the biggest threat in the tournament, so they have the most eyes on them, right?
They do, that's true,
It makes sense that a lot of teams are going to know their rotations, they're going to know exactly where they're going to want to drop, and they're going to try to punish them because they know how powerful Myth is. And that is exactly what happened in that last game. That was a rotation that they got cut off on.
We've seen that before. Everyone goes home and gets ready for finals, and the first team you watch all the videos of is the team that won, right? So that is sort of sometimes works against you. And Myth, maybe a little bit of that, but you know what? They got a 16th at 0. That's their one bad game. They're allowed.
Yeah, they could end up just readjusting. Only 3 matches in. We do have 3 days of a lot of gameplay. Something that I did end up noticing, though, when we saw the first page of the leaderboard was how frag heavy, how kill KP heavy is those first 2 squads. But as we're getting ready to finish off with the next 3 matches for day 1 of PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 26, we got something special with the coaches going on.
Extreme from Team Liquid here at halftime for our first day here for the final. Talk to us about what's happened so far here for the team, these first 3 games, and your overall thoughts.
I mean, first few games, there have been a couple big mistakes, couple bad shifts as well, but it's mainly the mistakes we want to focus on. The biggest thing right now is that we just don't lose the energy, we don't lose the focus, we don't get deflated or anything like that, and we just move on to the next day. We have like 15 games left to play. There's no reason to be super down right now.
Thank you very much, Extreme, joining us here from Team Liquid. Let's bring on now Ibi from Virtus Pro. Of course, same question really applies, but you guys have had a really good start here for our first 3 games, so talk to me about that. Any even slight mistakes that you've seen so far, or is it looking good for Virtus Pro?
I mean, it's looking really good. We got motion right now. They're doing everything that I want, and what we spoke about, we're pre-planning, we're playing super good. This last game, game 3, we had some good zones. We made some minor mistakes, so we lost 2 people, and we only got like 6 points. I think it could have been more, but so far everything is going really well, and I'm super happy. So we got to keep the motion going.
Fantastic. massive, Virtus Pro. Good luck in the next games. Thank you very much for joining me here. All right, and finally, let's bring on Gunnar from Team Falcons here, representing the Americas, representing freedom. Let's talk to you about those first 3 games as well. From your perspective, what has Falcons been able to do right and wrong? Obviously, Kickstart just had an amazing performance there against Na'Vi. So talk to me about your first 3 games.
The first 3 games are pretty tough. Like, obviously, the first game was a melee game. So we pretty much just said, like, guys, it's going to be hard to get the melee. Let's just try and get ours, which we just crashed Agal and killed them. And obviously just slopped it out with Vitality and Ferry. And then the next 2 games, same thing. It's pretty difficult. That final game right there at Miramar, obviously our best game so far. Insane individual performance by Kickstart, which plays like that to win tournaments. I mean, if you're able to 1v4 Na'Vi, like arguably probably the most mechanically gifted team here, that's how you win an event. So tough zones, but we're playing into them. We're just trying to get average points, and then eventually, we'll get ours, we'll get some good shifts, and hopefully we capitalize on it.
Thank you very much, Gunnar.
$2 million, Luti. $2 million.
I know, that's crazy, right?
What would you even buy for $2 million?
I think I would build a zoo.
Really? What kind of zoo?
Only pigeons.
Okay.
Hey, don't judge. What would you buy?
How much is a penthouse in Paris?
I think you can afford for the parking place of the penthouse. Bienvenue à Paris.
Wow. Okay. Okay, I might regret this. I've got to ask. Why pigeons?
Okay, Bonnie, have you ever seen the baby pigeons?
No, I don't think so.
Exactly. And I'm gonna just check what they're up to.
You're a weird guy, Luti. Okay, gotta love him. We are halfway through day 1 of the finals. It's time to jump into game number 4. Casters, over to you.
Thank you very much, Barney and Liddy. As things are getting weird here, 3 games into our finals. But so far, so good for T1. I am Porsource. Joining me once again is Martin, the Avenger. And we have 3 games left to bring you today. And so far, so good.
Absolutely halfway through the day so far here, and some teams have surprised, some teams maybe not so much. But again, we cannot judge that bad. We cannot judge it that bad already, to be honest. But we're going to be going on Rondo, Poro, and that gets me all excited because it's a difficult map to play, but you can really get a snowball rolling on it. Impressed with what Kickstarter was able to do in that last game, but yeah, let's get this playing and the 64 excited players on that screen.
Very exciting. You're getting me excited.
Oh,
yeah, I'm excited, and there's nothing left, nothing more to be excited about than dropping down onto Rondo. As you could even hear from talking to the coaches there during the break that 3 games in, nobody's really stressed. Nobody's really overly pressed about anything just yet. Obviously, those guys doing a little bit better than most, but it's again, we still got a lot of time left to play.
Oh, it was good to talk to both a top team, a mid-pack team, and a somewhat bottom team at the moment. Liquid 10 points only in 13 plays currently. But again, those kind of small, fast segments, I gotta say, production value is at an all-time high here at Esports World Cup 2026 in Paris. We are starting to the northeast over Hime Town and going all the way down to the south side. Targets be going into Ringyang, and we could I think it's a very high chance we could see this kind of eastern 50-50 circle that closes in on Jongbu. So let's see where we do end up here, but yeah, just anything but a center circle, I was going to say.
Anything but.
And that's what we get. So let's see what AGL can make the most of it for the home turf circle. Some teams on that western and southern side don't have as many teams coming in front of them, so there's not going to be as much pressure moving and kind of coming in on those teams. So yeah, let's see how everything evolves on Rondo. Again, it is this massive and huge map. Some of the teams are going to have a really far rotation. Shadow's going to be one of them. Vitality is going to be one of them. And T1 from Jadena are moving towards looting and haven't started looted yet. And we are past the 2-minute mark. So that's going to be really interesting to see how far they can take it in this one and for their campaign. I got to say, man, I've been extremely impressed with how frag heavy T1 has become and what they're pushing throughout this year so far.
Oh my gosh, Heather has been an absolute monster. Well, we've seen other monsters in the past, and one of those being Mr. Levante.
My favorite grenade, it's blue zone and smoke. I like stack blue zone and see how guys just dying in blue zone grenade.
That is a terrifying chuckle.
considering how crazy good he is mechanically and with almost every single weapon that's available in PUBG, that him saying that, yeah, I really love the blue zone, because again, especially with the line it up with the other players on your team, getting that, 20 damage if you hit 2 on top of the player, 20 damage per tick, it's just unhealable. You get so many knocks, so many kills, and often so many confirms. But Levante is sneaking up onto Lohi Shin, and Simon T from Vicious is going to be completely unaware of it, it feels like. So tells he could strike and maybe get a point early on here in game 4 of the finals.
Yeah, I hope he's got an escape plan, and it looks like he does. There you go. Right into the vehicle, get on out of there, as he will most likely be hearing Hello My Bad and Gedrox starting to arrive. So Simon T not sticking around any longer than necessary, as Levante will hear him drive away. They have this spot to themselves. Meanwhile, over in Stadium, Liquid finished looting up over there. They do have a pretty clear path into the north.
Right, yeah, absolutely easily, especially with a northeast kind of south plane path. There's going to be a lot of space coming in from the western side. I could see multiple teams, even maybe GK could consider coming in and kind of backfilling that position that Team Liquid will be moving in from. Back to Jadena City here. Great looking city, plenty of loot. If you're a really greedy guy like myself, where you want every single attachment, every single gun, you want your perfect setup, Jadena is the place to go. Twisted Minds and Navi, though, they will be rotating somewhat close to each other here, Poro. We could end up seeing some sort of a drive-by. Spara looked like he could end up being chasing, but ends up a little bit differently as the other guy takes shots at them here. Hackator Boostic. And what a game it was for them last one, until Kickstart said, hey, no.
I mean, that's the name of the game when you get to tournaments like this, right? We talk about it all the time. Your superstar players need to step up and make superstar plays if you were going to come home with that trophy. And that was a big one that Kickstart was able to deliver last time here as we check in with Virtus Pro.
Absolutely. And you remember last time I saw that level from Kickstart? Remember what happened there? That was the last time they won Esports World Cup 2 years ago, right? And then he was an absolute machine there. I always praise Matt for his growth throughout the years we've had here. Had the pleasure of him through the last 9 years, where he grew so much into a fantastic player. And now in a more senior leadership role on the team as well throughout the last 6 months. It's been amazing to see him obviously been able to develop here. There's full sense of Navi are being able to get kind of close here, and these is really high priority positions, and they're spreading out quite greedily. We could end up seeing them being punished, or even with a pull-up from some of the teams coming in.
Kind of taking shots just to, I think they know that Full Sense was kind of hovering around on their south side. Taking a few shots just to make sure that Full Sense doesn't get any closer. We'll keep an eye on that while we check in with GK. They're coming in from the south, but Liquid is posted up here for a camp. Purdy Curdy holding that rock initially. And GK, I don't know if they suspected something or if this is just their normal pathing, but it's working out pretty nicely. The trail man, though, will take a few shots. It's going to be Songjang. Did he actually lose a tire on that?
I'm not sure if that was a tire pop before he just decided to get back around here. Songjang, half HP, Luke 12 finds him with a headshot from the mini.
Nice shots there from Luke, and now GK has kind of started to scatter a little bit here. They were breezing through, and they turn around off of that knock, but the flush will come through, so Liquid will pick up one. So some good proactive play coming out on the part of Liquid.
I don't like that. They were set up somewhat far. I don't think they expected that exact path that they were going for. As we are going to see that new circle popping in 1 minute 45 seconds. There's plenty of time to fight here, but Akan returns the favor quite a bit here for Purdy Curdy. Shots are coming in here, does a lot of damage to him. He even just jumped out. Now he has to reload, though. He does have an EMAG and an 8X. Lots of damage can be done, and especially tires can be taken away here from Curd, and he's going to have to potentially get some help from the rest of his team. And now all tires are gone, so it's just going to be this soft cover from the smoke, and other guys are pulling off. It could be a trade 1-for-1 as Liquid is also moving in to get some help deployed here for his.
There was so many moving parts to that, and we'll break them all down in a second as we wait for this fight to end. Purdy Curdy does manage to get to the rock. Park Pro will pull up right underneath. Kurt does have support now in the form of Cowboy. He's got Luke 12 up on the high ground. That's a good grenade, we'll find EJ. But the man up close is still there. Luke 12 and Cowboy, though, they're going to close on Akan now. Park Pro dance around the vehicle. Park Pro does go down. Akan now the last player left alive, and he will go down in the end. Luke 12 and Team Liquid will clean up GK.
Even before the 10-minute mark here, they increased their point by 40% up to 14 now. And what a name to take out and perfectly executed, especially when you know you don't have any priority into the next circle here. They decide, okay, there's teams north of us, they're going to be coming in on this is likely the bridge they're going to come in on from. So amazing decision making.
Yeah, that was just such an interesting one because it looked like GK had disengaged. I think Team Liquid thought they had left.
Right.
That's why Kurt went up to loot the box without even dropping a smoke. He thought he was free and clear, but then takes a few shots, and then GK collapses. And you figure GK had him kind of dead to rights there for a minute, but couldn't get the knock. Kurt doing a good job of staying alive there long enough for the rest of his team to get back into position. And once they were there, boy, it was just instant collapse. Very, very well played by Team Liquid. And now the new circle is popped, and we are going all the way back up north, which is good news for Team Liquid.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the teams to be furthest away from the circle if you discount T1 here as they're moving in slowly from the stadium side. And majority of the teams are going to be coming in from the southern and eastern side here, except for the teams that say, all right, a northern shift here. There's going to be space on the west. Gen G, though, they pull up on AGAL, and Himas and Delvin is down already.
AGAL just cannot seem to avoid early game conflict so far, but they will find Bean with a panzer to the face. That'll be Sololzi collecting that one. Destroy taking some damage here. Sololzi has been spotted out, though. More utility being sent over from Gen G, but Virtus.pro, as you mentioned, they hear this, they see the smokes. They're going to come over here and see if they can get something off of it. Immediately pulling up right to the hard cover as they will dance around. Destroy gets picked out by D as he tries to escape. D will stay alive via the grace of the smokes for now. Sololzi, he's just going to try to bolt and run. Looks like he might get away with it for now.
A great third-party pull-up here, but other teams are also sniffing at it. It might be a fourth party as more teams comes in. AGAL is out, Sololzi is down to Clarice as Gam also gets somewhat involved here with that. D does get the kill on Destroy as he bleeds out, and now Corexi is thinking, okay, how can we finish up Gen G? He's in the middle there. Shots comes in, an easy headshot with the A's onto D.
It's good work from Virtus.pro. One left for Gen G. Virtus.pro fishing with dynamite right now, but they don't spot out Soul, but Soul will get one knock. He's going to go down in the end, though, but they need to get Nixie back on his feet quickly. As you said, a lot of teams sniffing around in this area. This is just south of dead center.
Very central location indeed, as Gam is now trying to get a little bit further north here. They're trying to solidify themselves a spot dead center. They could be driving straight towards 17. Navi also here, close to full sense. Also, pretty central location. Very, very high priority spot here with the high ground. Xiaowu, they pulls up and finds Tanwu.
A lot of early game action here on Rondo as Gam now squaring off with 17. 2 down for Gam as 17 hold the line in the gas station. Wembo and Little Ghost on the way to provide some support. Looks like they're going to arrive just in the nick of time, but you've got Vitality sniffing around on the north side. Long range shots from Gedrock's going to do some significant damage to Xiaowu, but not enough to get the knock.
Wang F low, sees him on the other side. You cannot shoot through this. Wenbo getting his cars washed as Hong F managed to heal up a little bit. He's going to push through the smoke aggressively here. Is Wenbo ready for this? He could be. Shotgun in hand, jumps through. Yeah, great shot. The sawed off gets the flush with the M4 as well onto Wenbo.
Sneaky lad. Got in there.
Got his car washed and also got killed. It's amazing.
Did he got waxed. Free waxing with that car wash. Well, 17 still managed to keep 3 up. Gam just going to try to escape now with what they've got left, and you can see the shots just coming through as we have ping-ponged a hard shift once again back down to the south. So the compound that Virtus.pro had taken, dead center right now.
This is why ping-pong is the favorite past hobby of a lot of PUBG pros, because the circle just goes everywhere. Ping-pong all the time here so far for Esports World Cup 2026. Curdy and the guys from Liquid actually managed to grab a spot outside the Northwest, but they have to figure out what their path into this circle is going to be. Virtus.pro, dead center, Navi in a great spot. Twisted Minds also set up pretty great. Liquid has to figure out, are we going to go and try to get in from the northern side or from the west? As we see mortar fire coming in.
Liquid's biggest problem might be Falcons as they hold on a compound they were already getting shot at from range. This might be just pre-mortaring their next spot to play.
Yeah.
Team Vitality will immediately hop back into those vehicles. They've got Gedrox right up front, but you see Twisted Minds has angles on this. They have to drive through the gauntlet of Twisted and 17, and Shadow Esports also heading over in that direction as the knocks will come through. Team Liquid are going to hug that western edge a little bit. They did see GAM retreating off into the blue, but it looks like GAM is just going to take some damage here. Team Liquid has to make this long wrap, though, to avoid Falcons.
Not sure if they are fully aware of Falcons' high ground position. It could be another situation where they're going to have to, divert or pull up and just try to take the points here. They've got time to wait and try to figure out what the best path in here. And Luke 12 is actually figuring out that Yulin might be completely open as Kickstart from the glider has so much information. Simon T finds example, though, on Twisted Minds as Vicious continue to be vile against the rest of the lobby here.
This has been Falcons' MO, putting Kickstart up into that glider, especially on Rondo, just to make sure that they have eyes on whatever's going on here as we see the grenades start to fall here onto Vitality. That's going to be a good one from Hansi. Will take down 2 members of Vitality. I think they're down to just 1 or 2 left alive. Yeah, you can see they're in the other crater. Gedrox and Levante just trying to survive as Nixie's going to steal that one away with the well-placed mortar. Shadow just playing around the smokes, but they are getting pressed at from Virtus Pro, from Navi. They're going to have to leave here or fully commit, and that's what they're going to do is he's going to take out his own teammate. Oh no, that's not the right time for that.
We get real quick rest here for Kamals, but maybe put him in the car and disengage from it here. Could be the play. More drive through and try to get the flush onto Vitality. Jexy is trying to drive south here. He's getting extremely close to Navi. That's a dangerous team to get that involved with, as they have that high ground compound that's extremely vital for their further campaign here. The next circle did ping pong a little bit again as Vitality is out in 13th place, and we're going to go west.
And Team Liquid do manage to avoid Falcons and find their way into the zone just off to the west of Virtus Pro. They're in a good position here. They can hunker down if they've got, they've got plenty of time right now to dig and set up their position, fortify themselves. So I think they should be okay for now. We see Shadow trying to get back into those vehicles after getting their res, try to avoid the line of sight of Navi, as Vicious will have to push right into Twisted Minds, but Twisted is ready and waiting. Tycon and Duckmite immediately taken down, and Simon T is going to be the next one on the list. Twisted Minds holding down the fort.
Easy play for him. Saw him now. He's going to get taken out 1-1. Absolutely perfect play here for Perfectix and Petulins to get all of Vicious out. 2v4 and getting 4 points on the board for them here. Sure, they're going to have to make a move to get inside the circle here. Nixie continues with the mortar fire on the rest of the lobby. Finds Jexy. Can he find more, though?
And 17, you can see there, seeing these mortars, they're seeing these smokes. They need to find somewhere to play, and this is looking like it might be okay, but they also would like to wait for the mortars to stop falling before they make their way. And Nixie's going to find another one. He is making that mortar do work for himself right now as 17 will drop the smokes down and try to fight their way uphill.
Nate's come in as well. That's going to find some damage onto Kamala, but steal the kill on Hansi as well. Chan continues to be an absolute fragger, both with the utility and the guns. So MSVGGaming wrap this up quickly. They are inside the circle here, but they've got pressure from multiple sides. But also, Twisted Minds could come in from the back and kind of backfill this position. Well, this takes lots of damage. Cards are on fire. He's not going to be able to get further than this. So much pressure onto Shadow at the moment.
This is really tough. Kamals is just going to have to play survivor mode right now as we get a quick replay of those mortars falling on top of Vitality. It has been mortars as the story of this match here on Rondo so far, doing so much damage. We see GAM trying to finally make their way back in once again. They are down to just Wong F as he is trying to go through that gauntlet of 17 and Falcons. Looks like he's going to make it through with just a sliver of HP left.
Kamals gets out the nade. He had 5 nades. Better get throwing on those because that's a lot of damage. You could potentially fend off some of the 17 players. Tickleton does find Wong F from GAM, so they're out in 11th place. As Navi is engaged on the southeastern side here. Damage is done to T1 here. And Hackatory with an MK14 and a 6X with full 3 gear is my worst nightmare, including all the players in this lobby.
And this is a more aggressive posturing that we've seen from Navi during the group stages. They're sending 2 down south, 2 up to the north, all keeping eyes on everything, taking shots at whatever they see. You know, we have seen them play a little bit more cautious when they were trying to make the finals. Now that they're here, they're starting to open up the aggression a little bit. As Hakatori will try to get that grenade ready. No, it's going to go back in the bag as he hears them hop in the vehicle. Good shots from Ian. Will force it back down, but it doesn't matter. Hakatori will find Heather, and Ian will get taken down by Spiro.
Usyk confirms us. Make sure they enter the points here. 3 points, 3 kills on the board for Navi. The circle did shift once again on the western side. Myth, Team Liquid, and Falcons are laughing as T1 is eliminated in 10th place.
We haven't even gotten a chance to really talk about Myth just yet because they haven't really been involved. Nothing going on the south side, but they have so much control, so much information about what's going on off to their north. Now they're starting to take a few parting shots at Navi. Team Liquid, though, has spotted them out, so it will start pulling themselves back together here as Falcons are also controlling what's going on in the northeast, as 17 still have not been able to rid themselves of Kamal's.
Especially with a back-to-back western shift, so many teams have to move from the same space on that eastern side, and there's just not enough time or space to try to rotate on the southern side or on the north without everyone is shooting at you. Myth defending the south, Falcons holding on to the north. Navi's going to have to figure out what do they do here. Do they do a pull-up and try to third party the 17 fight? As Gustav finds Lil Ghost, and they know there might be teams and players and kills available out here in the northeast.
This is a tough call for Navi, but they're just going to send it right in. But I don't know if you knew if Perfectix was right there. He'll get 1, he'll get 2. Can he get any more? He sure can. Perfectix, he's going to wipe Navi all by himself.
A back-to-back one, we thought, as Perfectix gets up to 6 kills and gets Twisted Minds on a total of 9 kills in this game. Well played by them, and that's the worst nightmare for any team rotating, that you have a guy like that behind all the cars, behind all the cover. As 17 is being absolutely demolished here by Gustav and Kamals.
Look at you, Kamals. Got 2 more off of that. That's a heck of a salvage here for Shadow, considering the position that they're in is, yeah, 17 got to be a little bit frustrated about that one. Twisted Minds does go down in the end, but not before Perfectix pulled off another superstar play for Twisted Minds. Adds them 9 more points. Push them up the leaderboard a little bit more. You feel like Kamals is probably dead to rights here, as Falcons have taken complete control over the north right now.
They are the defenders of the wall. Let's see where the next circle does go in here, though. As the game, the pace slows down, you have to figure out how we're going to compose ourselves and how are we going to enter this next circle. As VP is holding on to the east, Team Liquid dead center, Myth on the southern side, lots of control alongside the road, and Full Sense is trying to squeeze in. If this next circle does not come to them, they are the next victims of anyone that's going to have to make a move here. So Myth and Full Sense are going to have to make pushes, potentially into the same direction and same area as Team Liquid. They try to dig some foxholes and get some defense set up. It could be a push from Full Sense and Myth onto their location.
Yeah, this is going to be really rough, right, for Team Liquid especially, because you know both Full Sense and Myth are going to avoid the compound as best they can as we get to replay of that nasty, disgusting play by Perfectix. 38 rounds left, too. Not too shabby for that player here. As we see Kiss, all they want is to get a single knock here. If they get a single knock on a Team Liquid, it opens up the smallest of doors. But now Falcons has come over here as well, and they're taking shots. So this game of chicken between Full Sense and Myth eventually is going to have to come to a head.
What I really love about this circle is that where Falcons is like a mini King of the Hill fight, because it's slightly elevated. And they have that northern side control here. So Myth could try to enter on that western side. There's a little bit of space for Jacob. The IGL of Myth found some, but Kickstart finds Baron. And that's going to delay them so much. That could really put a spanner in the works for their approach into this circle here. Now Jacob with a 3 gear on him without the helmet and an 8x. He could do some damage from this location, but Kickstart's set up perfectly behind some cover with his car. As it's though, it is smoking.
Well, Virtus Pro. If they can pop anything here, as Belmoth does get that knock on a Luke 12, so that might open up a little bit of a space there. As Gustav will force Beamy back in. Says, you have the compound, you just stay in your compound for now. We don't want to have to deal with you just yet. Full Sense still hasn't made their way in. They are just kind of edging around as Myth has now fully committed onto Team Liquid. Alo, he's going to get one, but he's going to get taken down by Baron. We'll see if Purdy Curdy can return the favor with a well-placed grenade. He's just in range. Will it land? It's going to bounce off the vehicle.
And now this is the cue for Full Sense to make something happen. Tigger gets a nade flush onto Luke 12, so well played and well thought of from Full Sense here, your PGC 2025 champions. Baron now, Scappy, so are they going to be able to get this rest and get a full reset onto this as Cowboy has been pulled up on by Full Sense?
He gets the heal off just in time, but he is all by himself. Does he? Oh, he's going to throw the grenade to start things off, see if he can maybe get someone down. Got some damage, does find Tigger. He's going to find Flash as well with the grenade. Cowboy trying to pull a hero play, and oh no, he looks at the wrong direction. And Belmoth will survive for now, but Virtus Pro has left their compound. They're starting to come over here and see if they can get some points.
What an absolutely insane late game here as Falcons maintain control on the rocks here. They got so much pressure, and they're putting it on to Myth as Kiss turns around and finds Kickstart with a headshot.
Oh my goodness, Myth, how on earth have they managed to keep all four alive here as Falcons trying to keep an eye on everything from the north. Myth is able to just focus down Kickstart, get him knocked. Have not been able to get him flushed just yet as the utility will continue to rain down around Full Sense. Virtus Pro, they send 3. They've left Corexi back in the compound. How much utility do they have left? How much utility do they want to devote to taking down Full Sense as Flash has been brought back onto his feet?
Yeah, well-placed grenade right now would get yourself some kills onto Full Sense, but Nixie continues this pressure. He has a stun grenade, some smokes, but no offensive utility at the moment. Stuns come in, defensive stuns come in, and this is going to delay them quite a bit. Nice peek around, but Lukaruk finds Belmoth, finds another one. Nixie and Lukaruk pushes Full Sense and get them down.
So well played there by Nixie, taking that high ground on top of the rock. They don't even take a knock in the process, and that is huge for Virtus Pro as they immediately turn their attention over to Myth. Take down Scappy. Falcons able to reset, get Kickstart back on his feet. So they are back in control on that northern side. We'll see if Myth can return over to Scappy. He's a little bit separated from the rest of the team, and the terrain that they're working with over on that western side is a little bit more difficult to deal with.
Oh, great shots with the 3x spray onto that AUG here. He's got plenty of bullets to do so. 1,000 damage almost for Nixie and 5 kills. This is his game. Surely that's a man of the match right there. Taken. Falcons are moving in, and this continues to be that rough fight for terrain as the fight for the King of the Hill continues here in this game, match 4.
Seen a couple examples already of that excellent European marksmanship. Started with Hackatory, then it was Perfectix, now it's Nixie. Can Nixie carry his team, join the rest of his team? Getting a victory here, but Myth, they're going to just go ahead and full send, and Nixie is there for it. Nixie collects his 8th point as he is going to taken down by Tiggleton. Not flushed out just yet, but he's brought very low. And now Virtus Pro, they have a decision to make here as the rest of Falcons will hop in vehicles, start going for the roundabout. Oh! Nice Panzerfaust from Lukaruk, takes down Gustav, but at least it was only one of them.
It's a 3v3, not sure, but still 3v3 in standing. Corexi finds Shrimsy, and there's a lot of pressure on Falcons right now. 7 kills so far. Lukaruk catches a headshot.
Lukaruk has to hide behind that cover. Kickstart has the Doritos still to play around with. That Panzerfaust going to sail a little bit wide for Tig. As Shrimsy, oh no, he tries to crawl out from behind the rock, but Lukaruk is on time. We'll find the knock on to Tiggleton, and now it is all down to Kickstart. He's got a rock to play with, and he is outside of the zone, and the rest of the Virtus Pro gang is starting to collapse on top of him.
All right, Beamy just sending it around right now. He's at the high ground anchor position here, and Kickstart might just go out and see if he can get just one more point here. Asses get found here, and it's going to be Virtus Pro for a chicken dinner and 15 kills. What a way to assert dominance over this lobby.
Super well played by Virtus Pro, and super well played by that man right there, Nixie, going nuclear in the late game to the tune of 8 kills for his squad. Holds the line and secures them the victory in the end. Falcons had an opportunity to try to make something of it, but they just weren't able to capitalize on that knock the way they wanted to.
No, I really like the way that they're approaching it. It's okay, we have a knock here, we might have an open position, but they're just not ready for Lukarooks with that Panzer on that southern side. He was playing it so smart. Obviously, sure, Ghillie suit is not going to help everything, but it's going to help a little bit, and that way that was going to be able to execute it here. And Nixie, man, what a way to get into this late game here. And remember, they did it by pulling up on a compound, third-partying 2 teams, and holding on to that throughout that game. 15 kills and a chicken dinner alongside their 34 points they already had. It's going to put them on 59 points after 4 games, Poro. That is some championship level performance.
Things you love to see.
He's gonna you see the dip on orange. Exactly on orange.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, he killed himself, so it's 14 kills.
Nixie is so pumped about that one, though. He should be pumped. He should be feeling good about himself because he absolutely delivered for the boys there, and they capitalized on it as well as they could. But, you know, look, Falcons don't get the win there, but they still get a second place with a lot of kills again. Twisted Minds, they go out a little bit early, but Perfectix, man, he just solo wiping Na'Vi is not an easy thing to do, and he just made it look casual.
Na'Vi being on the receiving end of a 1v4 was not on my bingo card for Esports World Cup 2026.
I don't think it was on many people's bingo card.
Absolutely not. I think talk to all the players, all the interviews, all the content we did, a lot of them are just talking about this Na'Vi/Hackatory/Ferris performance they've had for the last couple of months here. So there's no denying that. But again, we can continue talking about the quality of this lobby again and again. There's so many superstars throughout this entire lobby, and it's just insane to see how many teams and players are able to just capitalize on these situations that set them up. But that barrel spray and Perfectix, what a way to do it. Na'Vi were fracking out. They're playing extremely well on that other side.
Yeah.
If they didn't have to move, they had 2 hardships going away from them to the western side. It potentially could have been a completely different game.
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like they just had no idea that Perfectix was there. Well, that is going to do it for us. We've got 2 more games left today, but before we come back to that, let's throw it down to an interview.
That's right, everybody. We've got demons crawling around the map. I've got one of them standing next to me right here, right now, from Team Falcons. It's Kickstart. Kickstart, dude, game 3. We've got to talk about that 1v4 against Na'Vi. A team that's obviously been putting points on the board, been pretty impressive. And you know what? You made it look like child's play. It looked easy, man. How was it for you?
Felt pretty good. I didn't play amazing in group stage, and I'm playing without a monitor arm at this event, so it's been a little bit of a struggle individually for me, but that is a huge boost of confidence because Na'Vi is such a respected, mechanically gifted team, and it felt amazing after.
Speaking about the kind of dynamics within this game, we've been mentioning quite a bit in the last few days, especially in the group stage, the sharing of the IGL role between you and Gustav. We're now starting to see it in action. It's starting to look a bit more comfortable, especially as you're getting reps on stage. How is it kind of internally between you guys as a team?
It's not really sharing. It's kind of fake to say that. He is the IGL, and obviously I can speak up a lot in late game and stuff like that, but I mean, he's just better in the meta than me right now at IGLing, and I'm not the best person to take criticism, and I think over a few months, IGLing is just a really stressful thing, and I think I don't know, I'm bad at criticism from teammates constantly, and it kind of destroys my confidence because I really take in everything that they say, and I think that just tore me down as a player. So Gustav is the IGL. It's not a sharing IGL. Obviously, I can make calls in the late game, but we're not sharing, you know?
That's good to clarify that, man. I appreciate it. I also think that Kalaris had an opportunity to chat with Gunnar, previously. He said that today's zones haven't exactly been the most helpful for you. So in those situations, is that the time to take risks? Because obviously we're in the finals, the pressure's on, the stress levels are building. But because we're in the earlier days, obviously with it being day 1, is it time to take risks in those situations?
Yeah, the first zones were just crazy zones, and when you get these zones in third person, it's kind of there's not much to do, and especially with the new zone changes, all of them are faster, and you can't really play edge as much, so just complete meta shift. So in those situations, we just try to get kills early game. I guess you can say it's more risky, but yeah, I mean, especially the melee game, when you're not on melee and you don't have an EP or any good access to the other side, then just crash the people in front of you, take the advantage when you have the advantage, and I think that's what we're trying to do now.
Well, it seems like you guys are picking up steam. You're climbing up that leaderboard, Kick. Thank you very much for joining me in this interview. Falcons climbing all the way up. I think they're currently sitting in second place. An impressive day one, but we've got so much more PUBG action coming your way right after this.
This ain't no regular thing. Came for the ring, you know what I mean. You see my name in the lights. Better get right, I'm champion.
We've decided to pop on over to the Lenovo Legion Gauntlet to get a bit of a CC update here with Ton. So tell us a little bit about what's been going on in MLBB.
I mean, you've came over at the right time. Vitality and Falcons actually taking each other on. Vitality just took map number 1. We're playing a GSL-style format here for MLBB, and it's coming down to winning 2 before you lose 2. Both these teams won their first game. They are teams who are expected to at least finish in the top 8. They then went and played up against each other. First map, I said, went towards Vitality. The winner goes through the playoffs, which is next week, which gives you like that time to chill, see a bit of Paris, do a bit of shopping, all that kind of thing, which is another bonus, obviously, to being here at EWC. But yeah, for both these two teams, it's a big game to get through. You want to get yourself through, guarantees yourself some club championship points.
Especially with Vitality already at the tippy top of the leaderboard and Falcons looking for that win. I mean, this was kind of pivotal. So obviously still lots of action left in MLBB. So we'll check back in just a little bit.
All right, there's a lot going on here at the Esports World Cup. However, the greatest challenge yet is still to be ahead of Clinton, paper thin, as he now tries to challenge one of the biggest hurdles we may have ever seen here at the Esports World Cup. Without further ado, it's time to go. This is now rearing up for it. He's going to be gearing up for exactly the challenges and just to test the waters just a little bit here. Going to be approaching the first step here. See if he can do it. Okay, he's on. He's on. Is he going to be able to keep his balance those enough to be able to actually make this work? As he's going to be taking a few more steps here, moving on forwards. He's trying to find a little bit of his footing once again. He's able to find it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, a bit of desperation there, but he's been able to stabilize. Not too bad at all. Seeing if he can really get his head in the game. Moving on forwards a little bit further here to be able to try and actually take this last step and see if he can be able to make it. Will he be able to do this here for the Esports World Cup? Yes! Oh, what a maneuver! What a maneuver! Oh, what a play by you. What a play by Clinton. Oh. Unbelievable scenes here at the Escalator World Championships. I want to get your thoughts about that performance.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough start there. You could see that, you know, I really had to get a feel for the speed and the momentum of the stairs. Like, this is one of the most challenging events we have here at EWC, but we got there. We got there in the first step.
Do you think this is going to contribute to the club standings at all?
I mean, I don't know. I really hope not, because whatever team I'm on is definitely hurting after that performance. It wasn't my best.
Clinton, thank you very much. We'll join you for the next event in just a few moments' time.
Thank you.
Quick club championship update for our side of things here over in PUBG Battlegrounds, where we've seen some big important wins. We had a win out of T1 in match number 1, a win out of Navi in game 2, and then a second place finish out of AGAL in game number 3. And that's big for the likes of Navi and AGAL, as they were some of our top 3 squads on the leaderboard heading into week 3. But of course, that's not all we have in the lobby. We have Liquid, we have Twisted Minds, we have Vitality, we have Falcons. So there are so many other CC squads that are in this lobby looking to get some points on the board, and a lot of these teams are very capable of taking this whole thing home. The real question is, will Myth be able to have the type of performance that we saw them have out of groups? Because if they do have the potential to take those 1,000 CC points away from the rest of our team. So it's going to be a very exciting finals for sure. You just have to keep up with all the action.
Such a nice day. Starting to heat up here on day 1 of PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 26 Finals. VP came off with the win on that one. VP. And also Falcons with a back-to-back top 3.
Listen, VP did very well, obviously. They've been killing it all day. We expected them to do this well. Falcons as well, staying consistent. And Myth, you know, we talked about it. Yeah, they had a kind of dropped a donut, but that was very uncharacteristic, and that rotation was difficult. So, of course, Steve, they make it into the top 4.
Yeah, I just got to say, VP is as hot as we are right now, man. Oh, yeah. These guys seem unstoppable. We talked about Kurexi and his power, and then that last game, Nixie was, what was that, an 8-bomb out of him? Like, those guys were crazy to watch, and it's one of those things like, man, VP starts strong. I love that we started the whole day with that skit about, like, well, do Polar Bears win everything? You're like, Polar Bear, maybe a hurricane beats a polar bear, but if the hurricane's named Hurricane Polar Bear, clearly they can't be stopped. VP is too good.
Hurricane Polar Bear, huh?
Yeah, it's like a Ditka reference.
Ah, okay. Well, hey, now we know Polar Bear does beat a win because they were able to get a win. Because remember, at the start of the day, that squad was able to get back-to-back second-place finishes. Right. So it's good for them to be able to actually confirm that they can win here in the finals. But talking about some other squads, let's switch it up a little bit. We've been talking about those top dogs so much. I want to talk about those teams that are currently showing just absolutely no life. You got GAM, you got Gen G, and you got 17 that are currently just not doing anything, and they're just letting those hopes of becoming a champion slip away.
Look, I'm going to be honest. I think Gen G qualified by sheer luck alone. I don't really feel like they had played so hard that they had kind of earned it. I mean, they were just on the cusp, barely qualifying, and I think that's, you know, that's kind of showing into the finals right now. And 17 is, I mean, 17 actually did play well in the group stages, though. That's what's confusing me.
Yeah, exactly right. I don't know what it is. It's not like they're not. I mean, the circles have been a little bit south slidey, and maybe that's throwing them off in 4 games, but it's not an excuse, right? At this point, especially with these guys, this is honestly the team in the region that I feel like takes the game seriously and is still putting the work in and is still hustling. And to see them struggling right now is a shock. Like, as much as I kind of poke a little bit of fun at it because they had so much trouble, regional, you know, friends, and went home, this is not a joke. 17 should be doing significantly better. They know it. Their fans know it. We know it. I do think there's a chance they turn it around. 17 has done this in the past, and we're playing for 3 days, so it's only 4 down. Maybe they bounce back.
But do you think it's too late? Like, I mean, if you essentially almost throw away an entire day in the finals, which they still have a few games, right? It's not over for 17. Right. I'm not counting them out, but if they continue to have bad games like this, again, this is the other thing we really haven't been able to talk about today, is this lobby is so stacked, and that's why a lot of these teams cannot make the mistakes that they were making in the group stages and still getting away with points. And that's going to be a problem for the other teams, not just 17, like Gen G, that are struggling, as well as like teams like GAM that you mentioned.
One of the problems that I'm having is AGAL right now, because not only are they a team that I thought might win this thing, you know, they had big expectations coming in, they're also in the Club Cup race, right? Their organizations are watching them with a fine microscope right now, and for them to end up here in this 11th place after 4 games with only 17 points, that's not the track they need. No. They are a team that plays better from the front. They're not a chase team, and so I'm starting to worry that if they don't catch a circle or 2 here in the last 2 games, I don't know where their bounce back comes.
And the consistency that we're seeing out of VP is starting to become scary too, because now we're starting to see Falcons show up. I mean, the lead difference right now from first place to second place is 23 points. And it's starting to look like something that we might have seen in the past with PGS 6, but it was meant that at the end on day 3, it was like, we can't really try to sell you a comeback because that first place team is being so consistent, and we're going to have Smash Rule on day 3.
And Smash Rule makes it worse, right?
Yes, it does, exactly.
That lead of 24, if that continues or if that expands itself over the next 2 days, the rest of the teams are going to be demoralized. When they show up and they're like, oh, they only need 10 more points and I need 60 to potentially make this happen, and it could end in any game, like that is just really tough to deal with.
No, I agree 100%. And VP, like, just watching that first game and their decision making alone makes me believe that no one is really going to be able to slow this squad down, and so far that seems to be the case, and honestly they deserve it if they're playing this damn good.
And they better continue to play this good, because I know the other squads are going to be keeping a close eye on what's going on with that leaderboard as we head to the final 2 matches of day 1 finals here at PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 26. Kalaris, what you got to say so far, day 4, as we enjoyed the sun here? Man, it's hot.
Well, thank you, boys. There's some amazing running and gunning gameplay coming out so far here to get ourselves well underway for PUBG. In that last game especially. Oh, Twisted Minds, man. Watching Perfectix being able to clutch that out, that was lovely stuff in the 1v4.
Dude, okay. We're seeing something really interesting going on. We saw frustration coming out from Twisted Minds, which Batulin's getting upset every once in a while isn't that big of a deal, but when it's consistently happening, it kind of throws off everybody's game. It should let you know what's going on, because we've got a very frag-heavy, chaotic start to these games that are going on right now, and if you're like a super diligent mind like Batulin's, that's going to throw it off. We were talking about this. Superstars, man. Superstars are rising right now just in this very kill-heavy, center-centric meta, and I think that finally we're starting to see Twisted kind of resurge back into that.
I think they had some rough times at PGSs, right? I think that's fair to say. Definitely one of the names that you would always have on your lips to be a champion, but in some of those PGSs it looked a little rough. Here, though, I think maybe some of that EWC magic, I mean, they want that back-to-back.
Well, look at the performances that we're seeing right now. The guys at the top of the leaderboard. We're seeing Heather popping off for T1, right?
True.
Nixie popping off for VP, big ways. Clutches like you're talking about coming up from Twisted. Other side of that, we just saw Kickstart have a big clutch, Tiggleton finding stuff. and really a lot of very big mortar plays for Control. So it's all these guys that have done a lot of research on how to just really push kill counts. That's where we're seeing leads come into play.
It's interesting to watch the fact that you've got a lot of the West fighting back against what Myth was able to put up in that group stage. They mentioned it on the desk here as well, and I think it's absolutely pertinent to kind of address here and see how it's going, because the thing is that it just takes one moment for Kiss to have some Kiss magic, and then we're right back in.
That's the thing, and we haven't seen that yet. Really, Myth, out of all of our superstar squads, is the one that's floundering, and it's like they're getting caught in this meat grinder where they used to just be able to shoot their way out of, but now that we've got all of the best together in one lobby, that's not working as much. They're getting pulled apart because we're seeing so many fourth and fifth parties, not just third parties. We're seeing squads crash, in circles 1 and 2 on top of each other going for kills.
Really far outside the circle as well.
Yes, yeah, like that whole thing in game 1 where we saw, what was it, like Falcons and Team Liquid that were over there. Everybody's having to deal with really weird plane paths and circles and go, I'd rather get 4 points here than risk just dying getting to the circle.
How have you enjoyed, or how have you embraced the new circle changes so far? It's definitely thrown some spanners in the work already, even here in this final.
You're talking to the wrong person on that. I'm the one that was rooting for Partona a second ago because I want the chaos. I want to see the best of the best have to fight through the worst situations so that way you guys can take it back to your game.
All right, well, thank you very much, Matchman, for joining us here. It is time now to head on over to the commentators here for yet another game from EWC.
Hello, friends. We are back. We have 2 more games remaining to play today, but so far it has been the Nixie show, the Virtus Pro show. They are in first place overall. Nixie with 15 kills on the day so far. An absolutely astounding total.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And Lukaruk's having 9, Kickstart having 9, Heather having 9. Again, him being 6 kills ahead of second tied is insane, but the most insane to me is Kiss with 2 kills. This might be the reason why Myth is not up there mistling and rustling her feathers currently in the top 2 here. Sure, they're just a little bit behind, 6 points, 7 points to get into that second place, but wow. The Virtus Pro show has been going on all day. 2 second places and a win. Nixie getting 1,000+ damage, 8 kills in that last one here. We're gonna have 64 very excited faces. One of them is going to be Nixie. He's absolutely ecstatic to be here for our 5th and penultimate game of the day.
Hey, Nixie's always happy, man. He's always smiling. It's a little bit easier to smile when you're sitting on 15 kills, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how much I'm going to smile when I see a GK and a Vitality hot dropping an army base up on the northern side as the plane path comes in from the north and goes south-southwest here in between Songam and Hosan Prison. More teams are going to be going in that same direction here. Competition for cars, competition for areas, and Vicious, Vitality, and GK being that close to each other is pretty scary considering the amount of alternate drops we have in. And the biggest surprise to me here, obviously, is Full Sense also has this is an alternate drop, but they could get into their central drop of Hosan. So everyone was like, okay, yeah, Vitality maybe going to get that, but everyone's just getting involved here.
Oh,
wow. What a circle to start things off with. I'm not saying VP is looking great already, but that's a home turf circle if I've ever seen one. But I can't find Levante as GK and Vitality kicks off a fight here from the get-go.
Started off quick as GK trying to take care of this as quickly as they can. Get Songjang back on his feet. You see the rest of Vitality are still kind of hovering around. Gedrock's already in a vehicle, but it looks like he's not going over to the army base. Instead, he's going to try to wrap back around. But Vicious is starting to look over in this direction. So Vitality need to be looking in both directions right now.
Vitality might be in a burger in between these 2 teams here, and not going to be a fun time being in this early here. They had a somewhat easy entry into the circle considering everything here though, Poro, and again, like, you would just prefer not to fight all of this, especially with might being 2 teams that's going to be involved as Dogmai with the M249. Your favorite gun, the bullet hose, Poro.
I love it.
That's going to be scary to drive past or even run against. I'm not sure if they're thinking that they turned around and got involved here, as if you see a team that's stretching towards Shipyard, you're going to think, okay, they're going to get plenty of loot here. We're going to take some A little camera show here in the prison towards Falcons. As you see what happened here, Levante found Xiongjiang obviously, but Khan did finish him off with the side gas. So again, him losing this is so unfortunate. Oh, that's an early E pick up here from Team Liquid as they move out from Palace to get potentially on the northeast. When we had this western plane path, it makes sense that you want to give up maybe even close to Shipyard to get some of these cars and then enter from the other side that's not as occupied here, Pro. So that's going to be an interesting game for Team Liquid.
Yeah, given the way that plane path was hugged a little bit farther to the west, so you kind of assume that all that area east of Shipyard probably pretty free. So your likelihood of getting a vehicle probably pretty high. So good thing about looting up Palace too is it's so quick to loot, isn't it?
Top 3 favorite spot for me to loot. It's so good. It's open. There's just guns, attachments, everything you need to get things rolling here. And Vicious, they are going to be driving back into Shipyard. They realize, and that's also what I'm thinking, Vicious here, you actually have a top 3, top 4 position to get into a good circle entry here and get information. Sure, it's a difficult circle. We might end up with that kind of pizza slice north of Twisted Minds that we've seen so many games from before we had the meta shift update with the land ratio. But this could be a spicy circle considering in Phase 4 we're not going to see a shift away from water as Team Liquid drops in and potentially gets a hold on some of the vehicles and some of the stronger compound on the east side of that small river. We're going to jump over to Gen G and Bean. It's going to be mean to get a BRDM and drive into that circle here. This could be a good game for Gen G. Let's see how far they can take it in their campaign.
And you know, coming back to Vicious, I actually like the fact that they pulled away because look, you know how difficult it's going to be knowing that they had Vitality kind of where they had them and pinched down, and Vicious being in 12th place right now. Those are looking like they might be easy points, right?
Yeah.
So I understand wanting to camp that, but also having that stopwatch in your head saying like, okay, let's not stick around here too long. We still have a great opportunity to get some more loot, get up here and get a good position for Circle 2. So, you know, pulling off of that, probably the smarter play, even though, you know, they really want to get those points.
That's a great point. And now we jump over to Shadow Esports here as they are driving in with a, I would say, a quite surprising performance so far. And it's in the midst of multiple of the players that's able to perform. Obviously, don't think many had it on their bingo card for them to be top 6 already here. Might have to wash your hands and get ready for some action. Shadow Esports with 28 points here. We're jogging just 7 points away from second place.
They have not finished a game outside of placement so far today. Their lowest finish so far is 7th.
And this is, I would say, probably the hottest circle we've seen from them so far. So with them having a far rotation from the southern part, let's see how far they can take it and how they can further their campaign here in Esports World Cup 2026 as we are playing on the stage Qiddiya City Grid for PUBG Battlegrounds. AGL also a big contender, also in the club championship. They have been one of the favorites to be competing here for PUBG Battlegrounds. As Ferris and Navi are going to be flying over and seeing all of these vehicles below them. I wonder if Navi is looking to get involved or just have the information be shared in between. AGL actually turns away from that. They don't really want to get involved as they might know that their player in a glider is going to have a ton of information as Alo finds Simon and Vicious. Them investigating the Vitality situation lost them out on time, and that might have cost them a player as AGL now drives on the other side here.
Yeah, AGAL, I mean, they see the player in the glider and they hear somebody shooting at them, right? So that's already letting you know 2 teams right there in an area where we're hoping we could play pretty free and clear, but unfortunately for them, not going to be the case.
But I will say this though, when it's a one player that's shooting towards them, that feels more like a peacock to get them away more than someone setting up to get a kill on them, right? So that's more what I'm thinking. It's like, okay, if they see one player, that might be just one player sitting in a compound trying to get them away. That's at least what I'm thinking. That's what the kind of point of view. And when you're a car caravan that's that close, that could just have been a pull-up. I understand it though. They don't know what side we're going to be ending up on, so they might want to set up for a information towards some of the bridges. They might want to be, okay, how do we approach this net circle? Let's actually see if we end up getting something crazy like a Yeoncheon circle here on the northwest for a big shift as T1 and Gen G, the Korean brethren, are getting involved with the fight here on the western side.
Now Gen G in a pretty wide split. They've still got 3 north of the river. They've sent Bean down to the south to keep an eye on the other side of the bridge. And I think he's going to be letting them know that, yeah, the bridge is clear right now. If you can get here, and if you can get here safely and quickly, now is the time, as you see Gen G just avoiding T1 for now. But that northern side right by that bridge is starting to get a little bit more hectic. You've got T1, Virtus Pro, Gen G, and all of a sudden now Geek going to arrive. You see the situation east of Terminal. What AGAL is still driving around trying to find somewhere they're going to play.
Wow.
Big hard shift down to the south. So that's going to be good news, though, for everybody, because now they know, okay, it is a 100% going to the mainland. But if you're one of these teams off to the north, you were hoping for the best and just got hit with the worst.
There's 9 teams outside the circle or on the way to get in there, so 7 teams are going to have some sort of priority here as Shadow drives straight into Navi. Spyro finds one, Boostic finds Jexy, and Shadow Esports is falling apart here with this one. Setsuna, though, he does have a Panzerfaust. Kamals finds Ferris, and Navi's going to have a big fight here with Shadow Esports.
Kamal's not going to be able to get the reload done in time. Boostic will finish him off. They know exactly where Setsuna is. Grenade in hand, will send it. Navi will retreat as they are kind of, you can hear shots coming from in and around this compound. Setsuna trying to see if he can maybe just dance around. Navi not going to give him the time to try to go for the res, but Ferris will get stolen away by Scappy. Myth just with vision onto this. Yeah, you can see the grenades just coming through for Setsuna, trying to slow him down, trying to stay alive as long as he can. And this is a messy fight, but it's a tough compound to be in. And there you go. Finally, he will go down in the end, but Navi does lose Ferris in the process.
Yeah, they have to decide. Are we going to continue this in this center compound as a 3-man, or if it goes away, going to have to try to go for res. I don't see a world where Navi goes for a res, even though that's so unfortunate to lose one player when you're sitting somewhat dead center in a top 3 compound in the current circle. But what an easy wipe it was for them. Navi is not about to have another game where they lose out quickly against a few players, as we've seen in the prior games. We see all the fans coming in here as well, showing support to all the guys and all the teams in this lobby.
Guns up for Gam. They are 4 strong. They are currently on the south side of this circle right now. They've got a nice little position for themselves as we see T1 and Virtus Pro. They run into each other trying to cross the bridge. I think
that's a hit shot.
T1 being forced over in this direction after dealing with Gen G early on. Type doing his best to serpentine in a boat. We'll see if Nixie has been on fire so far today. Lands a couple of big shots. Can he get the last one that matters the most? He cannot. So Type manages to escape.
And this circle could still go up until the northern side here, the somewhat of a pizza slice where Twisted Minds usually loots. They have hungered down quite a bit here. Twisted Minds, especially being the defending champion of PUBG Battlegrounds of Esports World Cup, they're looking for a repeat. It's going to be difficult. This is the craziest back-to-back red zone in the same area I've ever seen. And oh my, I love that. I hope we end here because that would be simply amazing. We are going to be ending up close to it, just south here where we saw Falcons, is all where the dips were. And Navi holding on to that center compound. Plenty of boxes to loot as well. Imagine how much utility is going to be available for a team like this. They're going to be able to fend off a breach quite easily. And look at Twisted Minds. They're sending it. They could be pulling up to an area just between or in between Myth and Navi.
And we'll see where Twisted Minds decides to go. They were getting shot at from Myth, from that high ground, and they're going to continue wrapping around. They might push right into T1. In fact, they will. This example is going to see Type and Raining pulling into the shack, and they'll immediately turn downhill and try to avoid this for now. But there's just not really much to play over here. There's 59 still left alive in such a small circle, as looks like Twisted Minds found one spot where they weren't getting shot at and decided that that is the place that they will be playing now.
Yeah, amazing scenes here for this game here on Tego. The 5th match of our finals. And Raining gonna deploy some smokes here for T1. They are spread. They have maintained a good position inside this circle here with a good control of this kind of shelf that is just below where Myth is overlooking. They are putting on some pressure here, but if Myth eventually is going to have to push off from this, it's going to be against T1. A lot of the other teams are trying to get into this circle here from the southern side. There's not a lot of space left. Full sense. Falcons, GAM, they have a lot of control. E1, GK, and Liquid is trying to get into this.
Yeah, that's
Virtus Pros on the north.
Kind of looking at right now, Vicious, GK, and Team Liquid. Team Liquid and GK specifically on the south side because GAM, as you said, GAM Falcons, Full Sense, just kind of have that entire spot on lockdown, and it's kind of forcing Team Liquid to maybe push right into GAM right now. So we might see the kill feed lighting up here soon as Vicious do have a little bit of land that they can claim inside circle on the northeast. As we see Myth still holding on to that high ground. Now it's mortar time for the boys. And where is that going to go? Is that Twisted or is that T1? You got to imagine it's one of them.
You can say what you want about this, but I love myself some mortar combat as Scappy finds a double onto T1. It's Ian and Heather. Two amazing players and two big names to take down. Raining and Tybe. Vicious also sending it in. Are they going to try to capitalize on that double knock? Shot comes in. Raining finds one. Tybe finds Simon T. It's an absolute fiesta. Raining finds another one. Dogmai goes down.
How is T1 surviving this? Vicious pulled up as a full squad, and they are just getting pulled apart. Pow! Now the last player left alive as T1 will try to escape to the hard ground, but they won't be able to get there in time. More mortars are being sent throughout the map as Himas will find the knock on the loop, but the kill feed is lighting up like a Christmas tree as Virtus Pro once again on time. They will manage to get over here, third party, collect at least one more kill, but the mortars are still falling.
There's an absolute insane amount of mortars coming in from both Tickleton, from Himas, and everyone is just fighting for this central area and sending it in to try the third party. Correction does go down. Lukarux might be able to be saved here as the mortar rain stops just a little bit.
Oh, Myth is back on it.
17 is sniffing at this as well. They're driving in close here, just in between and close to Twisted Minds. More damage, more mortar comes in, and is getting close to all vehicles too. Wenboa gets found. Xiao Wu finds Example. Panzerfaust on the lower fight as well. Xiao Wu finds the entirety of Twisted Minds as they go down in 13th place.
Oh my goodness, Virtus Pro's been dancing around, but now the mortars are going to arrive to take down 17. No one is safe in the open ground as Xiao Wu will be the last one left alive for 17. Looks like Virtus Pro maybe we're trying to go for the reset, but Myth from that high ground position is now finally starting to get involved. The north side of this circle has been absolute bananas so far. We'll see who's left alive when all this is said and done. Virtus Pro somehow managing to stick it out.
Yeah, being 3 alive here is massive. They got a bit of cover. They've got some riches to play, and this southern shift enables all the teams that are struggling to get in to try to sneak into this circle here. Navi still laughing with being dead center in this one. Purdy Curdy finds a con from GK as this southern fight continues. Vitality is in there. Falcons, Team Liquid, GamIN, GK. There's going to be little space left available. Now 17 goes up against Gen G as Salute took a lot of damage from that utility. Nades has been deployed, and they're fighting outside the circle as it pushes in. It's going to close in 1 minute and 10 seconds.
Yeah, this is just Lil Ghost by himself right now. Gen G, you see, have that BRDM, but Tiantian and Xiao Wu not in any position here to Lil Ghost. He'll have to play the walls, hops outside, does a little bit of damage, drops the Molotov. We'll get the knock on a D, but immediately traded down by Bean. Soul taking out Bean as well in the process. So they need to get that man back on his feet because the blue zone is coming.
Yeah, straight into the secure vehicle and they extract that man. Stolen, yeah, sure. Beamy found it. No, they might be able to save him. It's the first knock, so they might have a way in to try to get that rest, but VP has pushed out aggressively. No. Cowboy finds a con as GK is now under water. Absolute insane fire here. The mortars are raining in. EJ is trying to set up for a defensive location around the tree as Demi and Virtus Pro goes out for a more aggressive push to try to get some of the control on the northern side here, Boro. And this is going to be so vital as Team Liquid now sends it towards the center to try to capitalize on GK.
They got that first knock, and now they're trying to see if they can make anything more of it, but Songjang is holding the line. Team Liquid is down to just one. It's Luke 12. He's got 1 HP left as he is just lying prone. Good grenade, though, will take down Songjang. EJ by the tree. Look at 2 HP. Hasn't even had time to go for a heal just yet. Luke, that crash did not go the way that Liquid would have liked, I don't imagine.
Oh, three-man pull-up with them having all the Foxos available to them. EJ now try to go for a nade here towards Luke. It might connect a little bit with the 43 damage that is being applied here. Nixie finds him as the two Mortar Kings, and Luke 12 gets found with a nade from Park Bro. Team Liquid out in 11th place.
Just absolute insanity. The skies are angry on Tego here today as mortars just continue to fly. Virtus Pro takes down 2 more from AGAL. It's 1 more left alive. It's Delwyn, and he is nowhere near this. Virtus Pro are just on one today.
Oh, what a nade. Lukarux finds Chan Chan, and that is 17 Gaming out in 10th place. VP 6 kills. They're on an absolute tear. Look at this. Aggressive shots with the red dot from the AUG. He's going to try to go for a rest onto Nixie, though. He's still half HP. It's very possible. Could see it happening here quite easily for it. And then they could reset. Still, the circle went away from him. They have a big, long rotation to try to get into this circle here. Na'Vi still laughing. Vitality and Falcon still inside the circle as Myth tries to get into it. Belmoth finds himself with a car, and that's a little bit unfortunate for Full Sense.
Like that for Full Sense, but fortunately they're not being pressured right now. But Myth, they're in a lot of trouble. They're trying to send it from that high ground. They'll find some dips and craters. Lord knows there's enough of them on the map right now. They'll manage to stay alive for the time being, avoid the line of sight of Vitality, who have now turned their attention back over towards Full Sense. It's just instantly dropping those deployable covers. Those Doritos give themselves a little bit more room to play with. They are dead center right now as Virtus Pro are now finally back on the move. Park Pro has been taken out. That's going to be EJ, the last player left alive for GK.
Tickleton finds Park Pro as well as the BRDM is moving in, and VP is trying to involve themselves in this northwestern fight. Delvin is AGL's front man, but AGL is down and out in 9th place. And now it's about to try to get involved again here because they could get a little bit of a dip to play here if Nixie gets back into this BRDM. Have quite the line into this next circle here, but with the way that the roads work out, it's going to be difficult for them to have an entry against Na'Vi and Full Sense that is trying to lock this down. A repair kit gets deployed, and they get a little bit of a repair on this BRDM to survive for just a little bit longer. Smart play here from Virtus Pro to secure themselves both placement points and kills throughout this game.
They just got to survive long enough to get past this compound from Na'Vi, with all of Na'Vi looking in their direction. They'll use the smokes, they'll use that repair kit, and they'll stay alive for a little bit longer, but they're going to be pushing right into Full Sense as we see the replay of that pull-up from AGAL. Whoa! But the BRDM is just running over Full Sense right now. Shots coming through, third party from Vitality as well. They're going to have to hop out. The BRDM explodes, and Virtus Pro will go down in 8th place.
Yeah, that was a rough push for them. We're talking about a Full Sense. We're holding all the control on the western side there. As we also checked back in our replay at the same time, we did see how it evolved with Full Sense losing a little bit. That means that Vitality is now going out for aggressive push, try to hold some space here as Falcons also developing their southern control here. All the other teams are going to have to try to cross the road just later on here as Gam tries to get involved with GK, and Na'Vi is going to have to figure their way out and into this circle here. They do have vehicles available to them, so let's see if it's a drive-by or a pull-up or just a sneaky entry into the zone here, as they do have some riches to play in this location, Poro.
Do indeed. It's going to slow down here just a little bit as most of our teams are already in zone, already pretty entrenched. Gam trying to find somewhere to come in on this eastern side, but Falcons, Myth, all taking shots over there. As you see, Tanvu will take a knock. Na'Vi looks like they've found a little bit of real estate to play here on the low side. They should be okay for the time being as Kedrox gets the knock on the Tiger. Full Sense fight in from that western side with Vitality holding the high ground.
Shots come in and connect quite a little bit here. Full Sense, they're under quite the amount of pressure from both Vitality and now from Na'Vi as well. Are they going to be able to rest Tigger, or does Utility get deployed against them as Belmoth returns it? EJ has been found from Gam, and we're down to 6 teams now as GK claims 1 point for placement. He tried to cross the road without cover. That's going to cost Belmoth immediately as Gedrox get him down and confirms it.
And unfortunately for Full Sense, the Na'Vi boys weren't there before, and they're there now as the res will come through. A lot of damage being dealt, though, by Levante. And Tanvu gonna find another mortar. Goodness, the skies have just been alive today here, as Kiss now finds himself the last player left alive for MSVGAM, looking over in that direction while Vitality is in a lot of trouble. They've taken knocks as Falcons have started to come alive on the south side.
Yeah, and Full Sense were not able to survive that push across the road here. Vitality in the west, Falcons in the south, and they have really been able to control this space here. Got a lot of good ridges to play, a lot of good dips that's been created by all these mortars and all the red zones that we saw in the start of the game. Now Gustav pushes up here, and as we heard from Kickstart, the IGL aggressive pushes here from the front. Chrissy is knocked in the little hole with the tarp. So the other guys are going to be further in the west. Wangef finds Kiss as Myth is under an immense amount of pressure from GAM.
Myth just one of the hardest teams in the lobby to get rid of, and GAM will do it. Wangef with 2 well-placed grenades will take them down. And that is great news for Falcons and for Na'Vi, as VP was starting to gain a little bit of separation from the pack. You see 66 points in first place overall. Falcons and Na'Vi could put a dent in that lead should they be able to secure a win here, but it is going to be difficult. Falcons have the lion's share of the zone right now. Everybody else has to move in.
They have a BRDM as well. Guaranteed top 4, I'm telling you. What a way to do it. Sure, VP couldn't, but that was a difficult push, especially straight towards Full Sense. And now it feels like Vitality is going to be the next team to be on the receiving end of a lot of bullets. And you know, if I was a weatherman today, I couldn't imagine to predict the amount of mortars coming in from the sky. Now GAM aggressively pushing this one.
All right, Falcon still has utility left in the bag, and why not? They've been sitting in that compound for quite some time, but unfortunately these grenades going to sail a little bit too far. They'll do damage, but they're not going to get the knocks like they would have wanted to. They still have that BRDM to play around, though, and they still have to keep eyes over towards Vitality, over towards Na'Vi. Na'Vi actually starting to get a little bit more active. They're sending 2 over to see if they can finish off Na'Vi, collect these points for themselves before they eventually go down. Boostic has been left behind to see and make sure that GAM doesn't do a wrap on him, but doesn't look like GAM's going for it. Na'Vi still have 1 left behind, looking over towards Gedrox. Haven't spotted him just yet as he's through the smokes. Looks like Kickstart was looking over that direction as well. As flashbangs come through, Gedrox just alive by the grace of the smokes for now.
Soft cover is also cover, so he tries to maintain his life for just a little bit. Top 4 guaranteed. It's like deny here. He does not see a way where he can get more points, and now we're down to a 3-man Na'Vi, Falcons and GAM. Na'Vi fighting for that compound in the early stages and wanted with a full 3-man lineup here. Really paid off. Shots comes in and Hackatory finds Tanwu. 2 massive names on the mechanical leaderboard for these 2 guys.
It's a heck of a start there for Na'Vi. Get that first knock. Wangef going to immediately pick up his teammate and get him out of grenade range. See if they can get him back on his feet. A few shots will come through as Falcons will spot out somebody. Nope, Gedrox will go down to the blue. So his point goes over to nobody. Clories will have to try to find a way to hide from both blue zone grenades. Actually fall right on top of him. And he's going to go down as he gets ticked down by 2 unfortunate blue zone grenades for him. But well placed there for Falcons with the high ground.
Levance's favorite grenade. And that's going to definitely have an impact for how GAM is going to be able to play this one here. And it's another game where we have a King of the Hill situation where Falcons is maintaining all the control of that southern side, and they assert dominance over the rest. Now utility gets deployed here. Does it connect a little bit? Maybe it can connect to Shrimpsy, who is the front point man right now, but they've got so much cover, so much high ground to play around. And it's because of all of these mortars and red zone we saw in the earlier game. Could see a rest come off as GAM could get back to all 4, and they do, as Clarice does get rest by Wangef.
It's just so tough for Falcons to hit these grenades on these hillsides. I mean, they just, with the mortars, the divots being the way they are, the hillside being the way they are, it's just, things just aren't bouncing their way. But they do still have this high side. GAM still only alive because of the smokes, essentially, right now. So Falcons, though, they have to be watching 2 different directions. So it's not by any means easy for Falcons here, despite their good position.
Yeah, you got to start throwing curveballs instead of lob balls for sure if you want to hit those nades, or not cook them and hope they roll into the small dips that's available. Now shots come in and Boostic finds a nade and a knock onto Doc Juice and Wangef.
That's a beautiful work by Boostic. The ones from the side, theirs are a little bit easier to hit as Falcons try to see if they can peek down there and maybe third party, but Gam not going to let him get away with it. Tanvu keeping eyes over towards Na'Vi boys. Na'Vi just continue to make their way through. Hackatory's going to get another one as Tanvu, now the last player left alive for Gam. One, I think, who is that keeping eyes? Oh, good knock from Tanvu will slow things down, though. And this now opens the door for Falcons as they'll start coming down here. Gam will go down to the blue in the end, but it's down to Spiro and Boostic. It's a 4v2, Falcons for the victory.
Jocks come in, connects onto Tickleton and gets him down to 62 with 64 HP here as the boost comes in and ticking here. Now utility is really low. There's only smokes available on Gustav. Boostic has nothing left but bullets. And it's not even a lot as the first aid comes off. And now it's going to be a 4v2 with Na'Vi. Second and third place here, fighting to get that second place locked down.
You saw Gustav going for that low downhill flanking angle. He's not seeing anything just yet. Spiro at the top of that hillside, just spraying the edges of the smoke just in case somebody's there. As Boostic creeps up a little bit closer, using that BRDM as cover to see if he can start figuring out where these Falcons guys are. But it's so tough to push up as Spiro will go down to the blue in the end, and Falcons know exactly where Boostic is, and they will collapse down and finish him off to get the victory.
What a way to finish here for Team Falcons. Great game here, and all the fans in the arena are celebrating, of course. It's the defending club champions. And they have won it before, and now they show that they're capable of doing it again. One chicken dinner here for Falcons, and great placement so far. Assert their dominance on the leaderboard. They finish on second place overall here, just behind Virtus Pro. We have one more game though, Poro. It's going to be an insane one.
Absolutely, that was such a tough victory there for Falcons. You could see what they were dealing with. I mean, the amount of patience that they had to show because they wanted to try to get active. They wanted to try to go and third party that Gam versus Na'Vi fight, but just having Na'Vi being disciplined and Gam being disciplined to have one guy that their sole job was to keep an eye on Falcons and to take shots if they peaked. And both guys did their job and prevented Falcons from getting any more points off of that. So in the end, you know, great Falcons win. I know that we're wishing that they would have been able to get more points off of it, but both of these other squads doing as well as they did kind of prevented that.
And also considering how the circle worked out for them, right? We saw some shifts towards the center, and then it came quite far south, and they were just maintaining that control of that hill. They knew if we can maintain control in our quadrant, in our southern area here, we're going to be able to push up, have the high ground control, and then assert dominance of the rest of the battlegrounds here. And what a way to do it for them. Smart play, and it's somewhat what we saw from Na'Vi in the group stage, where the games that we know we can win if we're 4 guys alive, we're going to win it with 5 kills or 7 or 10, it doesn't matter. The chicken dinner is what matters, because those are the 10 points that are guaranteed, and that puts them in second place.
It's going to get them right back within range of Virtus Pro once again. And if I remember only one thing from that game, it is going to be the mortars. Well, we have one game left, guys, so don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back.
Everyone is playing, you're not yet. EWC Play is your all-in-one platform to compete in fantasy, pick'em, and quests for a grand total of $300,000 in prize pool. Build your dream fantasy team in 5 different games and track your score with live results tables. Predict the winner of every game, every group stage, and every tournament. Complete daily and weekly challenges to earn boosters that help you climb the global leaderboard. Got what it takes? Join EWC Play now.
Managed to grab Trav over from the Allianz Vault, and it's time to get a little bit of an update about what's been going on in TFT.
Yeah, well, funnily enough, yesterday, Team Vitality, which came into it as kind of one of the mid-pack teams, to be honest with you, were knocked out, which is obviously a big thing for the Club Championship storylines. Other than that, though, the rest of it's kind of going swimmingly for the teams who are supposed to be doing quite well. AJL kind of powering through, doing a really good job. Virtus.pro have just been knocked out, though, by Team Vision, which was kind of a big storyline because they were both sat on about 950 points. So that was one who was going to make that breakaway. And obviously, as you know, in Apex, they managed to get that top 8 position. So having another top 8 position makes them eligible for the club championship. And that has kind of been the biggest storyline today.
I love that. I love that. Obviously, we still have got a little bit more left to go on your side of things. So we'll check back in just a little bit.
Thank you, Glitter and Traff, with the club championship update. And for everybody currently predicting Falcons, congratulations if you were able to have them on your pick'ems. If you weren't, make sure you put them in your next one, or put whichever team you think is going to be winning in the next one. Go to the EWC website and the app and put in your pick'ems. And don't forget to use that hashtag EWC and hashtag EWC26. But finally, this is what I was getting worried earlier when we were talking outside. I was worried that nobody was going to be able to catch them up, or maybe they were going to get too much of a lead. But Falcons take advantage of the situation that was there.
I mean, to catch up to VP, you needed something crazy to happen. Well, this game happened.
PUBG Mortar Grounds.
Possibly one of the most explosive games in the history of PUBG, but it was Mortar Grounds, Grenade Grounds, Blue Grounds, Molotov Grounds. I think there was a point where I counted 1 or 2 actual firearm knocks in about 17.
Look, we talked about how cool the destructible environment is and how much it helps these teams and this and that. That was just a really unfortunate game for the player. Those. My hearts go out to the players because those circles are so rough, and when half the teams are using mortars and grenades, most of the teams honestly just didn't get to play PUBG, right? And so for those teams, honestly, this game, for me, for a lot of them, was also just a wash. But that being said, the Falcons able to control that chaos and come out on top with Trigonometry.
Dude, he started the war, bro. He started a 600-meter mortar.
Yeah, a 600-meter mortar. And to all the players that were landing mortars, still very impressive. But yeah, rough to play against, man. That's a rough one for the players.
You know, for a second, I thought we were on the moon there with how many craters we had on the map.
It was absolutely wild. But I do think, as we look at the match ranking, this kind of alludes to what we heard from the guys at the start of the day in Kalaris' interview. That sort of chaos breaks out. You have to be able to be flexible. You have to adjust. But Tulin said the changes are so fast and so furious that every team has to have a crazy level of agility. And I do think, as much as I think the players will probably say, I never want to go through what I just went through again, it's an example of agility. I think the Falcons did a good job of moving quickly and adjusting to the power. I think a good example of someone who didn't was Liquid. They were trying to use the old, let's set a mortar, let's push it, let's try to find a spot. And I think this is where you have to say, break away from those old school systems and make something new up on the spot.
Even GAN with Tambu being able to get those kills with the mortar. This is a squad that I was talking about earlier that really haven't done anything. They needed some type of spark up today to not have too much of a gap to catch up to on the next couple of days. But they were able to respond at least with the top 4 in this last match.
Yeah, and also Na'Vi continuing to be consistent throughout the day and throughout the group stage finals, right? They've just been on point. Again, they know exactly what they want to do. They've kind of figured out this lobby, as we've noticed time after time. Na'Vi is actually getting into central position, into great early game positions that are ending up working out for them. So I think with this comparison as well, you can see 9 kills, 1,800 damage to the 6 kills and 1,700 damage from the Falcons.
And when you look at this, you go, okay, Na'Vi has the better stats here. And also, we watched Falcons a whole lot more because they hustled, they grinded, they were moving actively. Na'Vi found a good spot. They held it. They kind of sort of watched their edges. They made sure that they were not caught in the explosive situation, right? And that's also part of it, is going, okay, if I send there, then I'm in mortar hell. And if I don't, maybe I have a better shot at this thing. So I do think that proactivity of knowing that's a giant field. I do not want to be in it. Let's play edge in.
It was a perfect mix of proactivity and patience, really, because they saw what they needed to do, but unlike Liquid, they waited for one team more to make sure that they weren't the victims of what came afterwards.
And for Liquid, we really haven't been able to see those superstars, right? Remember in group stages when we were looking at Luke 12, how he was able to pick up this squad. Earlier, we got a chance to see, I think it was Kickstart for Falcons being able to kickstart them after those first 2 matches. For Liquid, we want to see some of the players of the caliber of Cowboy maybe start showing up as well.
I think, again, for a lot of teams, that last game is just GG go next. You know, that just wasn't our game. And that's okay. That happens, right? PUBG happens. That's what we say all the time. That's one of those games. That's okay. But again, they need to come off the back of that and make sure that they are going to put up points on the board.
And I think if your team is on the bottom, there is a ray of hope here. That game was a GG go next, right? Earlier, that shift down towards Portona on Miramar, that shift was violent, the first one, and I think a lot of teams sort of went, okay, I just got to get some points on this. There has been a few aggressive shifts that we've seen in the first 5 games here.
Actually, kind of a lot of aggressive shifts so far.
So I'm not saying that it's right that you don't have the points right now, but I'm saying if it's your crew, if it's your guys, don't give up on them just yet, because it has been a wild first day, and we still have a lot of land for us to cross here, and it's not insurmountable for those teams on the chase.
And as we saw before this game, it was a 23-point gap between first place and second place. I want to see what that gap's going to be looking like now as we have VP there. Okay, closer. 15, a lot closer as Team Falcons was able to deliver that chicken dinner in the last one. Navi as well with the consistency, and Myth, even though Myth went out, they're still being able to get those points via kills.
Yeah, Myth on the grind. For me, the biggest disappointment right now is T1. They started so ridiculously strong. They were farming 17 on Miramar, and apparently if 17 avoids T1, they don't know how to get points. So they have had a hard time putting it on the board in the last couple of games here and have let that slide. Now, in a traditional day, giving up 2 games without a ton of points doesn't hurt you that bad. When you got the Virtus Pro playing out of their freaking minds, it does.
And that's the problem. Virtus Pro, even though they went out, or not early, but about 8th place, they still got kills. Virtus Pro is making sure that come hell or high water, regardless of how the game is going for them, they're at least going to accumulate 4 to 5 points a game, and that is what's making them so difficult to catch, even in these games where they go out, you know, halfway through.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing, right? 7 kills, by the way, they ended up getting in this last match. And for those teams that were hoping to even close that gap, yeah, you were able to close that gap, but you're going to have to do even more if you want to be able to close it towards the end of the day. So going towards the second page here, we see Shadow Esports there, where they really haven't been able to do much after that win. And a team that you guys said starts slow, but right now, with the way that those top teams are playing, I'm going to be looking at Twisted Minds as they were sitting there with 25 points.
System team, and I think this is chaos. I just don't think that the adjust on the fly is what they're sort of built around. I'm not judging their intelligence. I'm not judging their skill. I'm judging the fact that these have just been crazy games, that a lot of these players are going to have to go home tonight genuinely with their coach. They're just going to say, guys, we got PUBG. We're back tomorrow. We're going to do something different. We can fight this off. It's just been a really rough day.
I'm also just waiting for AGAL to wake the hell up. You know, where are they? Come on, guys. This was one of the best teams in the world at some point, and they're really struggling to put any points on the board. Even in group stages, we watched them struggle a bit, so they really need to wake up here.
Maybe they'll be able to wake up on this final game of PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 26 Finals Day 1. Game 6. Let's see who'll be waking up and maybe carry on some momentum to tomorrow.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We have 1 game remaining left here on day number 1, and so far it has been the Virtus Pro show. It is I, Porosaurus. It is he, Mr. Avenger. And Avenger, you know I love stats, right?
You love stats.
I love stats.
Hit me with some stats.
I love deep dive stats. But sometimes very easy stats are enough to tell the story. Right now, Lucarux and Nixie have more kills between them than 14 out of 16 teams in the lobby.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because they've been fragging out all day. And you know what? I hope that continues. We are over to Erangel on the Kadia City grid, on the stage here for Esports World Cup 2026, and yeah, it's looking great for them. A 15-point lead after just 5 games is absolutely next level. Esports World Cup last year was won by Twisted Minds with 93 points, and they have 1 more game today here. That is just unheard of. I wonder how far they can push this. Again, you have to remember, once we're done with tomorrow, we're going to be adding some points. We're going to be moving into the 3rd day for match point. But imagine if they've just built this unsurmountable lead that is just impossible to catch.
Just epic stuff from the Virtus Pro boys. And that's a heck of a way to start off your tournament if you have a nice little lead going at we were waiting to see if this was ever going to pop off today. There had been some rumors of GK versus AGAL. And it looks like we'll wait all the way till the last game of the day to do it. Destroy going to go down first. Shotguns in hand for the rest of Geek as they push around. Sololzi playing that wall, does have a flashbang, knows exactly where EJ is. We'll try to make the push in. Shots come through, but no knocks to be found just yet.
I love this hot drop here. It's so fun. The new compound south of the U Hill.
close to a rest station. It's such a crucial compound to maintain control over, especially if you want the hard spawn cars. Well, shots comes in as well. I can't find Stelwin, and AGAL is down to just him as and Salalsi.
Peeking through the windows is Doom. GK now have Himas and Salolzi by themselves, but that is a dangerous duo. You do not want to take them lightly, and I think GK knows it. Stop down, loot up the rest of the compounds around them as they know exactly where Himas and Salolzi should be. Well, they know where Himas should be. I don't know if they know about Salolzi just yet, but
and all the teams obviously know all these drop maps here, and we might have some action coming in. Levante is getting dangerously close to sniffing at this, so this could be interesting. You see him now on the...
And Lou, too. Look at that.
So a lot of teams getting involved here. Twisted Minds. The Noxar destroys in the open. He could be spotted quite easily here, but Telvin's bleeding out quite quickly. Destroys. Oh, there's like 10, 12 seconds left on his knock here, so Destroy's just crawling for information. Navi also gets involved.
What is it with you Europeans, man?
Yeah, they're sniffing out at easy points here, Pro. That's what it is, and I get it. It's smart, because all the teams, they know that in this area here, that could be the hot drop spot to be investigating.
Well, as soon as they saw it in the kill feed, they knew exactly what was going on, too, didn't they? So immediately sending guys over here, not getting too close, but definitely getting close enough to see if they can capitalize. It looks like Twisted Minds didn't really want anything of it, as Levante
with an 8x.
3'd up with an 8x. He's feeling great. Yeah, why not come over here?
Yeah, absolutely. He's ready to fight. He's ready to get involved. Sure, he doesn't have an EMAG on this MK12 here, but an 8x on that definitely can hit or steal some kills. Most of the guys here are missing vests and helmets, as you see here in Songjiang. A Tommy gun with a holo on it, just 2 smokes, 2 first aids. 1 shot to the dome from Levante would put him on his knees.
I mean, the rest of Vitality has come over here to join him as well, but it looks like Navi also kind of moving over in this direction. But this is, while in circle, it's on the south side, so it could just be Navi just kind of breezing past and saying, if we see something,
why not?
We'll shoot. But
why not? Why not a red zone power?
Yeah,
Tell me about it. Why not? Why are we not spicing up even further? We've already had a crazy day here.
And look at this. Now Myth is going to start making their way through too as well. So Navi looks like they're going to go ahead and leave it and continue making their way through, but Myth is going to drive right through Vitality as the red zone is falling, and Scappy's going to go right into the dip, somehow makes it out alive with 1 HP to his name. Goodness gracious, and Baron will get the knock on a Levante.
Oh, that's just insane here, and then red zone is going to come in as well. This is going to be rough for Team Vitality to try to recoup from. Baron continues to lay down the hammer as Scappy drives away with this 1 HP. Just insane scenes here. Yeah, why not throw some more 7.62 bullets at it as Kiss continues as well.
Why not? You gotta kind of feel bad for Vitality there, right? Like they're doing what they should be doing. They're being smart. They're keeping eyes on the kill feed. They know the drop maps. They know what to expect. They go over there to try to third party. And why not a red zone drop on top of you? And why not have Myth just make their way right through the middle of your split? Just unfortunate timing for them. But it looks like they'll be able to get Levante back on his feet now that they've managed to retrieve him and get to the hard cover, and Myth is going to continue their journey off to the north while we see an E-pickup has been fired, but it's only going to be Duckmai. He's going to be the lead scout here for Vicious as they make their way out of Novo.
Well, that makes sense. I like this scout, especially on the eastern bridge. It's very campable, and if you're in Milta, you might not want to get deeper already. So I like the idea from Vicious here. It's going to get him a lot of information from the guys, and he's going to be able to spot some cars potentially to get some information. He sees that even the dirt road on the high ground and farm is unoccupied at the current time in the game, with 2 minutes and 20 seconds about to happen for the next circle pop here, and the circle closes in just shortly. It's very congested towards that central location south of the river, but we do have a red zone around the river area where Team Liquid is also going in towards here. We're going to be jumping over to Virtus Pro, our current leader in this lobby, with 15 points cushion, down to second place. And it was only just because Falcons won that game but they're able to try to catch up here. So big names in the top. Also, if you look at it from a club championship perspective, VP, Falcons, Na'Vi, all high in the race.
Huge.
Most of the teams have already gotten their 2 top 8s in the club championship, making them eligible. They just need a win to ensure that they could get it even further. To take their lion's share of the total prize pool of $75 million here for Esports World Cup in Paris for 2026.
It's a lot of pocket change, my mans.
Oh, just a penthouse in Paris, like the other guys said.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what?
Parisian
Talking about pocket change here, especially when we heard from Barney and Ludi. Barney asked him, what can you get in Paris with $75 million? And Ludi, he said something in French I couldn't exactly see, but what a guy. But you know what I figured out? I figured out, Ludi, what his name means.
Okay.
Means lunatic.
Oh.
He's crazy.
I like it. Hey, you know what? If it works, it works, right? It does what it says. No, Nixie. It's okay. You know what? I'm putting that on Luka Rux. He just started running down the hill.
You know what the worst part about that is? When you go from first knock, which is 100 seconds, to second knock, it goes down to 30 seconds. So that's almost a just flush him and recall him immediately. You're just next to the recall box, just to get it back onto 100 seconds.
Boy, that would be some next level stuff there, wouldn't it? Hopefully, I don't think we'll see Virtus.pro commit to that just
I
yet,
don't think so either. But I just hate being on second knock from something like that.
Well, look at
the
that.
worst part. Oh yeah.
So we saw Vicious Gaming. They sent Duckmai over in 1 E pickup to scout out the bridge and scout out farm, and they made a foothold, and now they've got a 2nd E pickup. Because why not?
And their timing is actually pretty immaculate because it's going to be just when the circle pops, so they can decide, are we going to stick to it or we're going to drive in from the circle? It really depends where this next circle pops here. Are we going to go north? That would be insane. Ooh. We do go central. We do have some river involved, but it's going to be quite central, quite with the donut on this game here, as we have Perfectix and the guys from Twisted Minds quite central around the school and Abs area. Navi's locking down area 2 alongside Vitality, Gen G, and T1.
Meanwhile, this
standoff
shotgun barrel measuring contest continues.
And it's just on the edge of the news circle, so they're going to have plenty of time to fight this out. Oh my, Poro.
Why not? Why not? I mean, there's a lot of reasons why not, but why not stick around and see if you could at least finish them off? If nothing else, like this was fun, something that we felt was coming at the beginning of the day. Is Twisted Minds will find Beamy wins it with 1 HP against Example. He's going to go down, and that's going to be Virtus.pro securing a foothold here in Twisted Minds territory.
MS finds 2. Songjang, though, finishes it up as AGL goes out. GK managed to wrap this one up, and Nixie flushes Example. That's very unfortunate for Twisted Minds, so it's going to be rough for them to try to defend this area here. They had to disengage from their split. They had a 1-1-2 split, but now all of them are involved with this fight here. Having lost Example is just super unfortunate, but VP with a full pull-up onto this, I would say the highest priority on the apps here.
Oh my goodness.
It's going to be crucial.
And if you thought Geeke was out of the woods after finishing off AGAL there, well, you don't know our teams. Falcons wrapped down there, and wouldn't you know it, Vicious drop from their E pickup almost immediately upon hitting the circle, and they are looking down in this direction as well. So Geeke, while they do defeat AGAL in the end, they are still stuck in this compound.
It's a full pull-up from Falcons. They know if you have 6, 7, 8 guys in one compound trying to loot, they're not going to have that much utility. You're not going to have that much loot. So I do like the pull-up and the third-party opportunity here from Falcons.
Vicious, though.
They have no idea about Vicious, so that is the third-party factor, and that's the scary factor that could be coming in this game here. And they are inside the circle. Falcons currently, not having conquered all of the compound, are not. So let's see how they are going to be approaching this fight, Poro, as they try to get up onto the roofs of the USs and onto the buildings to try to put pressure onto Geeke, as Vicious has set up inside the circle to either third party or wrap up the fight when it happens. Blue zones come out and utilities being deployed here, as we're just really going to quickly catch how Himas did some damage onto EJ. But they did end up getting killed in the end by Geeke.
Why is EJ pushing in that solo like that? That's a little bit nutty, but yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, they almost win it. Good Lord. Well, Geeke do win it in the end, as Vicious still just hovering around here. See a few shots being sent by Shrimzy. Will take the toesies of Songjang, but Not enough
Not
to
to
get
Tozy. She's not here.
Not yet. Not Tozy. Come on, man. You're killing me.
Songjang. BME finds perfect on the other side here as Twisted Minds and VP continues to fight here. Falcons trying to figure out, is this worth the investment? Is this worth the time? Rexy also finds the Tulans, and there's just one player left on Twisted Minds. More utilities being deployed here. Twisted Minds is out of 15th place as VP quickly conquered the apps. Boostic finds Ian as T1 and Navi continues to fight here. Panzerfaust on Gustav. This might be the opening that they needed. Are they going to clear it? There we go. Great reactions from Gustav. The IGL on Falcons, the Danish superstar. Now they try to get in and rush this last 3-star. He's blind.
Oh, yeah. No, you're done, Zo. Clean stuff for Falcons, and that's 3 points picked up. And now Vicious starting to look over in that direction. But would you know it, Flash and the Full Sense boys are wrapping down in that direction now, so it might not be done. Navi, meanwhile, they get crashed on. Ferris, the last player left alive, and T1 is just raining down on their compound while Gen G is looking at them from Volcano. Not getting involved just yet, but they could at any time.
Oh my God, Ferris is on fire. Heather's pushing in into this spot here. He's going to jump up there. Ferris did find raining. More utilities being deployed. He's going to throw a Molotov just in under. Remember, there's a desk in there, so you can jump up and not have your toes on fire. Ferris under tons of pressure. The last player here from Navi makes it difficult. Gen G with a pull-up third party, and T1 gets furtherly involved in this fight.
We were waiting to see if they would get involved. They were hanging out on the top of Volcano, but it looks like it's going to be enough to get them at least to get into throwable range, start spamming utility. Meanwhile, on the south side, Falcons did disengage, but Full Sense and Vicious now scrapping. And look at Virtus Pro. They're going out in the blue to third party that fight, because why not?
Just insane scenes here. Absolute cinema happening on the last game of day one for the finals of PUBG Battlegrounds. Here at Esports World Cup, Pau finds Belma, then Flash, as Tanwu finds Falcons for their rotation on the eastern side. A little bit unfortunate as Gam, Myth, and Falcons on the eastern side is really getting deeply involved here. They find so many kills and knocks on the other side, another fight here, and Genji's now disengaging. Falcons setting up for some pressure onto Gam here, and the nade close to Tickleton's going to do some damage. Kickstack knocked in the distance, so is Shrimsy. Gustav trying to get involved here, and he finds Cloris. That's a huge name to take down on Gam, and Cloris found Tickleton with the nade that's been dropped earlier. Duck Juice, the last player now, tries to put more pressure onto Falcons as they have multiple knocks out here.
Yeah, Duck Juice was just out in the middle of nowhere. He was north of Yesnaya when that happened, as it was just a unfortunate case of timing for both Falcons and Gam. As it looks like Myth is going to try to third party this. We'll see if they can get anything off of it. Meanwhile, you see in the picture-in-picture T1 now taking that fight to Navi. Gen G has disengaged. They pulled back up on the Volcano. The circle going in their direction. They like their chances for endgame here. Virtus Pro, they're coming out of the blue after third partying the fight down to the south, and they're going to find Gen G waiting for them.
Falcons now disengaging, maybe trying to get kickstart even here. There could be a possibility as Myth disengaged from this fight here. The circle doesn't start moving until 22nd. Levanda hits Getdrax. That's a little bit unfortunate, but Shrimsy's going to try to find Oh, can he find Duck Juice here? Tickleton does have lots of time on the res. He could start engaging once again, but you have to get this res off before the circle starts moving so Tick can start healing immediately. Circle closing now, and they're going to have to get an entry into this circle. They got quite the space, actually, in between both Shadow Esports and Myth here, so they do have an entry into this. But they're going to have to figure out if they're going to get involved with Duck Juice or if they're going to do a drive-by on him. It's a point.
It's an absolute point, and they definitely want it, and they're going to come over here and see if they can find him. Duck Juice has the grenade prepped. We'll throw it down. We'll try to do some damage. We'll take at least one down. No, he's not even going to get the knock on a kickstart. Cleaned up by Falcons as they collect their 6th kill. They're coming in from that eastern side. It looks like, I mean, this is mostly by the grace of Myth, isn't it? Myth was in a perfect position to third party this, but they see the circle. They see themselves in a good position. Now they'll just wait for Falcons to push into them.
And that's kind of been the story of Myth so far in the finals. They are prioritizing getting that positioning here. And then we have two teams in the very top that are playing a complete different meta. It's just a kill race for them towards the top. They have built an absolute mountain of points and kills throughout this game so far, and I'm liking the difference
I'm just waiting for T1 to join that as well, because that's exactly what we saw from them in the group stage. As Heather here is trying to hold on to this spot here. Spyro does have a Panzer. It's going to be a difficult fight to have, as there's a natural smoke coming through. Salute finds Lukarux, and it delays VP just a little bit. They're going to have to commit to this res here. So they're going to be all four. Heather does find Spyro. Navi goes down in 11th place.
Just non-stop action from the word go here in match number 6 on Erangel. Virtus Pro, though, wouldn't you know it, still 4 alive, 6 kills in the bag, fighting their way in from the south. They've got room to play with as we wait and see where the next circle decides to take us. Team Liquid slowly coming in from the north. They're going to be our last ones to arrive. 34 players left alive, 10 teams in it. Who will get that circle favor here? As you see Heather solo by himself.
Whoa!
He is going to get the zone too. A hard Western shift. And now Falcons, Shadow, Myth, Virtus Pro, all of them will have to find a way to find some space in here to play.
And with the amount of space that's been removed, that's kind of playable, because it's not playable in the fields except for the last area that Myth has kind of an entry in. It's going to be difficult. Gen.G continues their pull-up onto T1. They know that it's probably just Heather from the information that they have available to them in the match log. So now Utility's being committed to clear out this compound. With this Western shift here, it is by far the best and highest priority building. VP also continues their wrap, as you see in the minimap, just on the southern side here. They're going to have a fight with that. So Shadow, Falcons. Oh, Heather finds Soul, and Gen.G is going to try to clear this one out. And Soul is actually disengaged from the other guys as he tried to clear the other building. T1 continues with an onslaught as Falcons rotate in just ahead of Myth.
That is a super scary solo player to have to push, and Gen.G's finding that out the hard way here as Falcons will take the dip. Myth, though, do have plenty of utility to send over in that direction. Scappy have grenade in hand, hasn't sent it just yet, waiting for the rest of the team to arrive. Shadow also send it in, and it looks like they're going to find a spot. No, they're going to crash right on top of the Gen.G compound as Heather finds another one.
Heather's just insane. We saw it. Lukarux finds Hansi now, and Myth is going to be involved with Falcons. We're going to have a lot of fights to try to follow here, and VP with the third party onto Shadow. It's completely falling apart. Gen.G and VP is dismantling Shadow Esports as Corexi get the confirm onto Hansi.
Virtus Pro just coming in at the perfect time to third party, fourth party, all of these fights. Now from the top of the hill, Shadow Esports does get eliminated almost instantly. Somehow Heather still alive. Gen.G down to D and Soul as Heather has been holding the line. That is, we said he's a scary player to have to push solo, and that is why.
Heather says, no, nobody's going to hold over this one. I'm going to lock this down, and what a way to do it. 600 damage and 2 kills. Just such a mechanically gifted player, the superstar out of Korea. Can T1 try to catch on to this lead that Falcons and VP have built? It's going to be difficult with just one player in this game here, but he's going to try to do it, try to make the most of it, as D with a shotgun is below him. They're going to coexist in this compound here, as it is on the western side. VP maintains control of Volcano. Vitality is still inside the compound, and now 17 and Team Liquid is going to have this big fight here as Mortar is also coming in from multiple sides. It's Tiggleton, of course. The trigonometry continues.
Who else but Tiggleton as the mortars will land around Team Liquid. They tried to pull up, and it's not going to happen. Another mortar will find its place as Purdy Curdy, now the last player left alive for Team Liquid. Falcons picks up all 3 because of Tiggleton's mortar work. 9 kills now for the team.
Absolutely insane scenes coming out of this one. Now Falcons is going to have to defend. We have another Western shift. Myth is going to have to push. And we're going to see a standoff between VP and Vitality as well. A car move here. I really like that from Falcons. They didn't want to have the rain of utility coming in, so they're pushing further with more hard cover being inside this next circle here. Smart play from them. Are they going to be able to survive everything coming in from both 17 and from T1 and Gen.G? Xiaowu finds Baron. Shrimsy goes down, and Kickstart gets knocked as well from 17.
Oh my goodness, it's a shooting gallery right now. Virtus Pro just has so much control over everything from that high ground position. Vitality forced to go back into their compound, but they are going to have to leave it as a circle will be arriving soon. Myth also kind of in the same boat. They have to find a way in here, but I mean, the best plot for them probably is looking like where Falcons is. 17 have to leave their compound. They're going to crash right on top of the compound of death, doom, and destruction, still occupied by Heather and D, and Soul is just off to their west.
Gonna be a scary push now. Falcons survived quite a bit here, managed to hold on to 3 men alive as they have some hard cover. Links in hand, shots come in towards Lilgos. Cars are getting destroyed. Wenbo finds Heather and T1 is eliminated. We're down to 6 teams and 19 players. Tickleton 4 kills, Gustav 3. And they are going to be able to survive for quite a bit longer here as they try to move the cars. A C4 is also in the pocket of Tickleton alongside the 3 helmet and the Lynx. That's going to have some impact. Let's see how that follows on as we slow down just a little bit, but Vitality is going to have to make a push. Myth is going to have to make a push, and puts Tickleton on fire as he's able to crawl into the smoke.
That was the problem, wasn't it? Myth was able to get within utility range. They were able to get the throwables down onto him. Tickleton will get knocked here. He's able to retreat to the smoke for now, but that's going to be a very difficult res to get as 17 has taken over Heather's building. D still in there, though, with that shotgun, so that he could be a third-party factor as we see Myth just methodically making their way a little bit closer here towards Falcons. How much utility do they have left? You gotta imagine it's probably pretty limited. Soul from downtown gets the full wipe onto Myth.
And this is exactly why you do not stack up too close when there's mortar still inside this circle. Now Xiaowu opens it up onto Gustav. Yes, Falcon is on, more pressure. It opens up the door for 17. Tickleton, though, says no to Nixie. You're not going to continue your fragging rage in this lobby. Vitality is still alive, trying to get into this circle here, but it's absolutely impossible with VP, Falcons, and 17 staring at your direction.
They are just one well-placed grenade away. That one was very close. Corexy gets him low. Tickleton will go down. 17 getting active on that northern side. Luka Rux will get the knock on a Tiantian as Corexy is currently preoccupied with trying to take down the boys from Vitality. That grenade might be close enough. No, it's going to bounce out.
Oh, more mortars
my God,
coming.
I hear another mortar.
I'm scared.
PTSD.
I'm nervous. Corexy finds Gatrax with a headshot. The Dragon of Master. 4 bullets left, though. 600 damage. D finds Wenbo. He's dismantling 17. They forgot about him.
Gen G, after getting dismantled by Heather by themselves. Lucarux, that's a P90 push if ever you've seen one. 13 kills now for Virtus Pro as they continue to separate themselves for the rest of the lobby. 84 points on the day as D finally gets spotted out and taken down by Xiaowu. Soul, the last player left alive for Gen G.
What a great game it's been for 17, but the story just still continues being it. VP is just fragging out. They've put 21 points ahead of second place now, and it looks like to be continuing. The damage leader in this game, 800 damage and 4 kills for Beamy. Can Soul have an impact onto 17 and make it even easier for VP, because it is looking inevitable for VP to not win this game.
What a day.
Oh, Soul!
For VP, Soul will find Tiantian. At least get that one down as he continues to play from the side. Oh, taking shots in the back to Luka Rux. Fortunately, he's got the smoke there to retreat to. Panzerfaust may come out at any time here for Lil Ghost. He knows exactly where Soul is now and will try to make that wrap, but Soul smartly repositioning once again, playing the outside of the wall. Looks like Xiaowu may have heard the footsteps as Lil Ghost will pull that Panzer out once again. Waiting for him to reveal himself. There it is. He'll take him down in the end as 17 will be down to just Lil Ghost and Xiaowu, and now it's just all academic here for Virtus Pro.
Finds one.
As they try to connect. Another win. Corexy finds Xiaowu. The last player left alive is going to be Lil Ghost, and this could be the cap, the exclamation point, the cherry on top of what has been an insane day for Virtus Pro.
And remember, in 12 games last year, Twisted Minds were able to win it. But in 6 games, they're going to do it, and they're going to put it up to 90 points, just 3 points shy of what we saw last year in half the games. Virtus Pro gets another chicken dinner on the day, on the first day of groups here at Esports World Cup.
unbelievable work from the boys in orange as they put the rest of the lobby on notice that they are here to win. And it is going to take a mountain of work to try to catch them. You just have to hope they slow themselves down in some way tomorrow, because we've seen some phenomenal performances from other teams. Falcons, 63 points on the day. That would be the story in and of itself had it not been for the fact that Virtus Pro is damn near 30 points clear of them.
That's just absolute insanity. These teams and these players obviously hoping to take one of the biggest trophies home and help their club towards that club championship. And Virtus Pro, they're looking too damn scary to play against when they're having this much fun, playing a complete different meta than the 14 other teams outside Falcons. It's a kill race for them. The wins are just the fun alongside of it. Look at that, the P90. Let's hear what they have to say for this win.
I'm letting go over deep. He's very low. Nice.
It was just nice.
Cool, calm,
collected.
Just moving different through the lobby right now. Built different. Virtus Pro, what a performance on day one.
And they've been talking about it. You know what? You know who's the best at making a snowball?
Who's that?
It's a polar bear.
I like to see it. Polar bears, well, you can't find a snowball if you're not in the ice, and they are just living in it right now. Cold as ice. You can hear it in their comms there at the end. Just, it's just casual at this point. Like, it's too easy for them right now. Well, we'll see if any of these teams can go back to the drawing board here tonight and figure out a way to stop these guys and start coming up with something that's, because look, if you're Falcons right now, you should be smiling if you're Gunner. You got 63 points in one day, but what a performance here from Virtus Pro. But we are done for the day. Let's throw it over to Barney for an interview.
Okay, righty-ho. That was an absolutely unbelievable day of PUBG Battlegrounds here at the Esports World Cup. Sitting on the top of the leaderboard proudly with a smile on his face is Nixie from Virtus Pro. Nixie, let's talk about today. You know, one of the hardest things that we've all been speaking about backstage, and people have been talking about the current meta, one of the hardest things to achieve is consistency. You guys had that in spades today. Your worst position was 8th, 2 first places, coming into like 14 kills in each of them, and 2 second places. Dude, just tell me how. Let's start with that. Let's start with how.
I mean, opportunities, that's all. We had really good opportunities, really good pre-planning, and the opportunity just came. We won the games, we got really good positions, and yeah, we just played good. Everyone played good, everyone felt the momentum, and yeah.
I mean, speaking about planning, we want to talk a little bit about Coach Ibiza, one of your best buds. Look, he's since stepping down as a player, becoming coach. How's the dynamic of the team been? How has he fit into the role of coach? And, you know, the dynamic between you guys as friends as well. Like, what's his role for you guys?
I mean, when he stepped down, we had to fill his shoes, of course, as an because he was an IGL of our team. And it took a lot of time to who is gonna IGL, who's gonna do this, who's gonna do that, and he helped us, of course. That's why it's very important that he stayed as a coach, because he could teach us what he knew and everything like that. So, I mean, as he stepped down, like, he did a lot of job for us. Like, he's doing a lot of prep, a lot of things that we like taken a lot of from our shoulder. He's just doing it himself. So, yeah, big props to him. Like, I love this guy. So, yeah.
I mean, whatever you're doing, it's working at this point. Going into day 2 of the finals tomorrow, obviously you're sitting at 90, I think in the mid-90s when it comes to points. In 6 games, that's absolutely disgusting. Is confidence kind of at an all-time high amongst the team, or are you keeping everyone pretty grounded?
I mean, we always were a pretty confident team. It's not, we never really got like, we didn't really care who we fought or anything, but we made sure that we reset after every game, because if you're hyped or doing it, or like if you like, you just need to keep up the pace, you know, like stay exactly the same, because if you're more hyped, you make more mistakes. So we need to make sure that we reset after each game. So yeah.
More insane hype moments, though, coming off those wins. We heard you from backstage when you let out that massive shriek after that first one on the board. Congratulations, though, Nixie. What an incredible day. We have also got another interview lined up across the stage with Kalaris and the main man, Gustav.
Yeah, all right, Virtus Pro. 90-some points here in day number 1 of the final, but I've got the man Gustav here to talk about it. Falcons currently in second place here for this one. So, Gustav, first things first. Last year around, the landscape looked very different for you. Now you're in Falcons. You've been in with them for a few months. What has it been like to play with this roster compared to some of your other rosters?
I mean, it's been amazing. I don't even know how to describe it. I thought 3 or 4 months ago I was going to retire from PUBG. I was starting in high school again about now. So it's been amazing. I mean, it's been so much hard work as well. These guys, they put in hours like no one else. The expectations for us are like we just put a high level to each other. So like actually showing up here at EWC feels amazing.
The level looks very high as well at the moment, I think it's fair to say. And speaking of which, game 5 and 6, there was a lot of mortars going on. 5 might have been the most mortars I've ever seen in a game here. Talk to me about maybe just in general game 5, as well as, is Tig the best mortar user in the world? Talk to me.
I mean, I don't like saying positive things about Tig because his ego is already way too big. It's unreal, but I mean, I gotta give it to him. The mortar, like, that's him, you know? And then I think it was Gen D as well, also had a 4-bomb on Myth, and we were just started screaming because we were dead from Myth in a millisecond after that. If they didn't get mortar there, we were dead 100%. So I don't know if it was shrimps. Someone was making dog noises. Like, they were going crazy, so we were happy.
No doubt, no doubt. And I guess I also want to ask about the new IGL role. It's been kind of the hot topic here at the EWC at the moment in terms of what's going on inside Falcons and stuff like that. We've asked Gunnar, we've asked Kick, we've asked everybody what's going on. So how's that been for you so far, and what are you kind of bringing to that role as a whole for Falcons at the moment?
I mean, it's for sure hard because you're Falcons. There's a lot of expectations, and I just told myself, like, there's gonna be so much pressure on me, and that's what's gonna bring me down. So I just, like, it doesn't matter what anyone, like, says, even if my teammates, I just try and stay alpha, like, you know. I just, like, sometimes these games, we just go full dog mode, and we just embrace it, and I've told the others, like, the first 2 games today, it was awful zones, we just gotta grab it by the balls, you know? Just gotta do our thing, and then these later games, I think we kind of got the zone a little bit better, and then we put up big numbers. So, it's been amazing.
Gustav, thank you very much for joining me. An absolute pleasure. Bringing some EMEA class to the Falcons, boys. That does it from us here down on the stage. Let's head over to the studio.
VP, what a performance today. Just a good old beep whooping. Because that's what it looked like from that squad, Toffees.
Yeah, I think you heard it from Gustav. At VP, the same tactic. They both grabbed the game by the grenades and played as well as they possibly could. That last match was another tough one. I will say, you know, they can thank Soul with that super mortar for keeping the Falcons in it a little bit, which is really our hope of catching VP, because VP had a crazy day. At 91 points, they made Myths day 1, which we were like, 79 points, so cool. Well, not anymore, because 91 apparently is the benchmark.
I mean, they're almost 30 points ahead of second place, which is just out of control, which is Falcons, who have had a great day. That's the crazy thing. When you look historically at teams having big days, as we watch the Falcons here kind of clean up Vitality, almost getting 100 points in one day is absolutely ridiculous. I really can't impress upon you guys watching at home how many points that is in a single day, and how just impossible it almost is.
So if you added Falcons and Virtus Pro's points together, it would have more than most of the bottom of the lobby combined. I think more than half, over half. So let's talk about these 2 teams primarily, because they're the ones who did such a good job today. First, I want to start with the Falcons for a second as we watch them on the highlight. Gustav recently joined the team, and the thing that I think is really cool, if you guys are just joining us, if you're joining the PUBG ecosystem for the first time, you got to understand the journey Gustav has taken to get here through FaZe, to one of the most respected IGLs. He's played the game. He's played with different teams. He's played in different regions. For him to say, these guys work, they're the hardest working team I've been with, I have a lot of respect for how they do their system, that to me actually is probably one of the biggest shouts I've heard given to the Falcons in a long time, that he joined and respected them that much.
Look, we've always talked about their work ethic, but it's great to see another player coming in from another region who is also well respected in his own right, be like, you know what, these guys are absolute animals. The amount of time that they put into the game, the amount of practice care, even with all the changes that they're talking about. And Gustav, you know what, he's an incredible player, and so far, I mean, the thing is, this is working for the Falcons, but VP is just so damn good.
And let's pivot from that. We saw it at the end of the game, and this is what I love about PUBG. You saw Falcons and VP laying in their chairs talking to each other in the interview, right? They're still best friends. These guys travel the world together. They're totally having a great time. But VP looked insane. I mean, you could see Nixie trying to sort of hide the celebrant living inside of him, because that was a crazy day, even though they didn't always get circles. They had to fight to get everything they got, and it was beautiful.
Is this a record for the most points in one day? I'm trying to jog my memory in the however many years we've been playing this, 8-9 years. I can't remember another team getting over 90 points in a single day.
Yeah, we'll have to double check on that one. We'll find out for tomorrow. But I mean, 91 points, as you guys have been saying, absolutely nuts. The consistency out of this squad, as Barney was saying too when he was doing that interview, insane. Falcons is within striking distance. Now, for some of these other squads, right? We got Navi, we got Myth.
Yeah.
Myth, we were expecting a lot coming into today. I think for tomorrow, for Myth, we want to see what we saw out of them in day one of groups.
I mean, Myth and T1 both need to turn up a little bit harder on the back end of the day. Navi also letting it slide, but the fact is Virtus Pro and Falcons combined have more kills than the next 4 teams put together. And then you jump down the farther leaderboard and it gets even more dire. So I think the story for tomorrow is, how do you figure out which rooms VP is staying in and lock them inside or keep them awake all night or play music outside? Like, I don't know how you beat them outside of trying to kick them in the shins.
Look, Nixie might be next door to me, so if anyone has any bribes...
Accepts bribes.
No, but in all seriousness, I mean, if they're playing as good as they do tomorrow, we might just be talking about second place. But honestly, VP, if they do get to that point, they deserve it, man. These guys, you want to talk about grinders. We talked about Falcons, and they do put in so much work. VP is also the other side of that coin. They're putting in just as much work. You heard how much work Ibi, the legend, I love him, is putting in to help these guys, and it is showing in spades.
The maturity, I think, of EB is also what I love. Him I mean, he's a legendary player, and for him to take a step back and say, I'm not what the team needs to be great. Let's go out, let's get Curexy, let's put this together the right way, and I will coach you guys through all the things that I've learned.
That team. I would have been like, you know,
yeah, but I'm just
I'm
saying,
not
like,
going anywhere.
what a cool. I mean, that's just a great move by EB. Like, it's noble to step back and say, this is what we need, and for them to say, yeah, well, you're a part of this team, and this is the right choice.
Yeah. Well, guys, tomorrow, day 2 of finals here at PUBG Battlegrounds at EWC 26. It's going to be a lot of teams are going to have to catch up, especially with what we saw there towards the second half. And those teams that are within striking distance, they need to make sure if they see VP getting eliminated, they need to just go for it. They need to make sure they get all those points. So for everybody watching, make sure you tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow will set the tone of what we will have on the final day.